Welcome back to the Kingdome. Here are the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Maryland starting lineups tonight. First for the Orioles, Brady Anderson, who's tied for second in the league in home runs with 18, will lead off and play center field. Luis Poloni in left field batting second. The league's leading hitter, Roberto Alomar, will bat third. He checks in hitting .401. Rafael Palmeiro is in the cleanup spot. Bobby Bonilla again DHing. Cal Ripken will play shortstop tonight. Jeffrey Hammonds is in right field batting seventh. Chris Hoiles will catch and hit eighth. And Billy Ripken makes his sixth consecutive start at third base. He'll bat ninth. And the Orioles starting pitcher is Scott Erickson.
Well, Scotty Erickson, we know, a great sinking fastball, slider. Missed his last couple of starts with a sprained ankle. I think the important numbers for tonight: 0-6 lifetime at the Kingdome and 0-3 on the road this year. So, I'd like to get Scotty back on track. It's a real important start for Scotty against his powerful Mariner lineup.
And speaking of the Mariner lineup, here's the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Maryland starting lineup for Seattle. Darren Bragg will lead off and play left field. Alex Rodriguez hitting .369. The 20-year-old shortstop will bat second. Ken Griffey Jr., who was just named American League Player of the Week, is in center field hitting third. Two-time batting champion Edgar Martinez is the designated hitter. Jay Buhner, who hit 4 home runs against the Orioles at Camden Yards in the last series, in right field. Paul Serrano in his first year with the M's. At first base, Dan Wilson will catch. Russ Davis, former New York Yankees, at third base, and switch hitting Joey Cora at second base, batting ninth. And the Mariners starting pitcher is Bob Walcott.
Well, Jersey Bob Walcott, just 22 years of age, fastball, curveball, slider, change. 3-5 this year, .581. Organizational pitcher of the year last season. A surprise starter in game 1 of the playoffs versus Cleveland, and beat the Indians, giving up just 2 runs in 7 innings. He had a no decision versus Baltimore in that wild 14-13 game back in Baltimore. For him to be successful, he has to challenge the hitters and mix his pitches.
The umpires tonight, crew chief Dave Phillips will call the balls and strikes. Ray DeMuro, a Pacific Coast League umpire and the son of longtime Major League umpire Lou DeMuro, will fill in for the injured Durwood Merrill. He's at first base tonight. Brian Ornora will work at second, and Dale Scott at third. And Davey Johnson and the Orioles are ready to go, beginning a 5-game road trip. And tonight's giant HTS Orioles $1 Million Magic contestant is Fruma Ginsburg of Silver Spring, Maryland. Fruma has automatically won a Sony 27-inch stereo television. And if an Oriole player hits for the cycle in tonight's game, Fruma wins $1 million. Turn your field of dreams into a field of green by playing Giant HTS Orioles $1 Million Magic. See your local Giant for details. Well, the Orioles beat up on Bob Walcott Friday, May 17th at Camden Yards. He lasted just 2 1/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs and 9 hits. And the man who will lead it off for the Orioles, Brady Anderson, got it started with a double down the right field line. And then shortly after that, Luis Poloni came up and hit a home run. And the Orioles were off and running, and they knocked Walcott out of the game and went on to win 14-13 as Chris Hoiles' dramatic home run, a grand slam, won the game for the Orioles.
Yeah, real turnaround in that series to enable the Orioles to win 2 out of 3.
Brady goes after the first pitch and pops it way up and foul. He put on quite a show in batting practice.
I'd say he hit anywhere between 12 and 15 home runs in VP, and they're pretty much one after another. So a swing right on the money. He's hitting 10 straight games since coming back from that quadricep injury.
Off-speed pitch is outside, and it's 1-1 to Brady, who's hit safely in 10 straight games, hitting .405 over that stretch. That's high, 2-1. Walcott is a high fastball pitcher, and that could spell trouble the way the Orioles are hitting right now.
It means more long balls, or certainly more fly balls.
Brady gets under one and pops it foul.
A pretty good indication, even, the foul balls are hit up in the air. So he has some movement to his fastball. Good changeup, slider. Needs to use them all to be effective.
Brady calls time and steps out on Walcott. He'll be followed by Luis Poloni and Roberto Alomar. Just missed. And it's 3-2 to Poloni, or to Anderson. Poloni is on deck.
It'll be 3-2 in Poloni next.
Could be. Look at a lot of 3-2 counts this year. Brady hits a high drive, right center field, and you can forget this one. A bomb out of here. Number 19 for Brady Anderson. Well, when you hit home runs in batting practice, your teammates say, what time is it? Well, it's game time now, and Brady has just given the Orioles the lead.
They also say, what you put in at practice pays off in the game, and Brady certainly practiced a long ball in BP and takes that same stroke into the game.
He's already surpassed his home run total of last year and was within 2 of his career high of 21. We're not even halfway through the season. Number 19 for Brady. And now Luis Polonia, who homered off Bob Walcott at Camden Yards, steps in.
This is a carbon copy of how we hit him off Sammy Snyder in batting practice today. This ball's over the outside corner of the plate, and you can see Brady hooks the ball.
Ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Joey Cora, and he throws out Polonia on a nice play. Brady has really benefited by the addition of Rick Down to this coaching staff. They seem to agree on hitting philosophy, and Rick's made some subtle changes that have helped Brady, and he's off to the best start of his major league career. Here's another guy who's on fire, Roberto Alomar, leading the league in hitting, hitting .401. He's hit safely in 12 straight games and 15 of his last 16. Chrysler League leaders, Robbie way ahead of the Yankees' Paul O'Neill in the batting race.
33-point lead. Pretty amazing.
And we have a breakdown as to what Alomar hits depending upon the count. If the pitcher gets the first pitch over for a strike, he's only hitting .306. But if the pitcher goes 1-0, he's hit .506, and now it's 2-0. Finally, a strike from Bob Walcott. Also been a great 2-strike hitter, hitting .330 with 2 strikes on it.
He's just better hitters. He's a better hitter in good counts. But he's not afraid to get 2 strikes on him either.
And now it's 3-1, so a good hitting situation for Robbie, who's hitting .418, batting left-handed. Ball 4. Walcott walks it. Now that'll bring up Rafael Palmeiro, who had 4 of his 5 hits off Bob Walcott on May the 17th at Camden Yards. In that game, Rafi went 5 for 6 with 6 runs batted in. Also hit a home run off Walcott.
That's the night I think he raised his average about 25 points.
He went from 255 to 279 in one night. Walcott acting like he doesn't want to throw the ball over the plate, and can you blame him?
One thing he's got to remember, he's got quite an offensive team behind him. The thing you got to do is stay out of the big inning.
Palmeiro hits one high in the air to right, and Jay Buhner will make the catch. 1 foot on the warning track. Rafi didn't really have a full swing at that one. Walcott changed speeds on him and had it out on his front foot.
Right. Looks like he got it a little bit off the end of the bat, so really decreased some of the power trying to hook the ball. But I think, as you pointed out, it didn't appear that Walcott's throwing real well, and pitching coach is going to make his way out, see if he's all right. Appears to be getting under the ball, up in the strike zone. It's Bobby Cuellar, the pitching coach. You okay?
Well, he's supposed to throw in the upper 80s to the low 90s, but doesn't appear to be throwing that hard tonight.
No, and what you watch for in the mechanics of a pitcher is, you got to keep that elbow up throughout the delivery, and he's been dropping it, and the fastball's been up in the strike zone, and I'm sure Bobby Cuellar has a radar gun somewhere, and you can tell that his velocity appears to be down.
This could very well be a high-scoring game because the Orioles have a lot of hitters who hit Bob Walcott well, and conversely, the Mariners have several hitters who have owned Scott Erickson.
Well, and you add in the AstroTurf factor. It's like, I've heard the comparison of playing with a golf ball in a bathtub in here. When you get it on the ground, it really picks up speed on this turf. A quicker turf in the league.
Ball 1 to Bobby Bonilla, who's up for the first time. Bobby had a tough time in his last 2 games on the recent homestand. He left a total of 13 men on base.
And I think Bobby Cuellar also wanted to know why he wasn't throwing any breaking pitches through the first 3 hitters in the lineup. Nothing but fastballs. You know, Walcott is not that type of pitcher. Needs to mix and use all his pitches to be effective.
That's well hit down the right field line and deep. And Buehner races into the corner to make a fine catch in front of a 312-foot sign in right field. But the Orioles take the lead on Brady Anderson's 19th home run of the year. It's 1-0 Orioles. Scott Erickson on the mound tonight, making his 9th start, his first since May 12th. He missed 3 turns in the rotation due to a sprained ankle. And he's had no success in this building. He is 0-6 lifetime at the Kingdome. Scotty, a sinker ball pitcher who's much better on natural grass than he is on artificial turf. So I guess he'll be happy that when the Mariners move into their new ballpark, scheduled to open in 1999, he'll be pitching on grass.
That'd be nice. And the reason he has a harder time on turf is when he has the great sinker, they top the ball so badly that they end up being hits in front of the infielders are too high for them to make a play at first. And when he just has the average sinker, they hit those ground ball screamer types that go through the infield.
Low 1-2 to Darren Bragg, hitting .306 with 4 homers, 8 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. The Mariners, a good offensive team. They're leading the league in runs scored, averaging 6.2 runs a game, and leading the league in the majors in home runs, and are on a pace to break the major league record for home runs in a season. Bragg strikes out for the first out.
Alex Rodriguez.
You see here, it's a pretty good breaking ball. One of the better sliders I've seen Scotty throw in a while. Straight down. Well, the 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock break, and Bragg is swinging over the top of it.
That's why I was wondering, we were talking before the game about whether or not a sinker ball pitcher like Scott Erickson would change his approach pitching here at the Kingdome, where the turf is very fast and the balls jump out of the ballpark.
Well, if there's one thing he should add in, and I talked with Pat Dobson about it, and it is his changeup. You know, he has a pretty good changeup that he's been somewhat reluctant to use. You know, change speeds on your sinker. You know, just don't let them tee off on the hard sinker. Change speeds on it.
1 ball, 1 strike to the kid, the 20-year-old shortstop, Alex Rodriguez, who's really benefited by moving from the number 8 spot in the order to the number 2 spot. Since hitting second, he's hit .441 with 6 homers and 21 runs batted in. He goes to right field. That's one of the reasons why he's become a better hitter. He's learned to use the whole field and hit the ball where it's pitched.
Well, Scotty Erickson's goal is to keep the number 1 and 2 hitters off base in front of Griffey, Edgar Martinez, and Jay Buehner. Well, terrific numbers against Scotty Erickson.
And here comes trouble now with Ken Griffey Jr. coming up. Lifetime hitting .486, 17 for 35 with 3 home runs off Scott Erickson. Griffey just named American League Player of the Week for the week of May 20th through the 26th. It lines the first pitch foul. Over that stretch, he hit .462 with 5 homers and 14 RBIs in 6 games. He hit safely in every game. Included in the hits were his 200th career home run and a 3 home run game against the Yankees, the first time in his career he's ever hit 3 in one game.
Kind of ironic, he was on the cover of the Mariners scorebook last season, the night he broke his wrist here at the Kingdome against the Orioles, and the night he hit the 3 home runs was his first time back on the cover.
He clubs this one to deep left center field. That's in there for extra bases. Rodriguez is being waved home. Cal Ripken fires to the plate. Not in time. And the Mariners have tied it up on a booming double by Ken Griffey Jr. He picks up his 39th RBI.
Well, this is the kind of series we expect it to be. High scoring. And actually, Scotty Erickson doesn't catch much of a break here because the ball stays in the ballpark. But this ball lands a couple of feet shorter than it does. It's a ground rule double, and then Rodriguez does not score. The Orioles do not catch a break here. The ball stays in the park. It appeared that Cal Had a pretty good chance to nail Rodriguez with the throw just a little bit up the line.
And Ken Griffey Jr. is now hitting an even .500 lifetime against Scott Erickson. 18 hits in 36 at bats. Here's another guy who hits Erickson well. Edgar Martinez hitting .478 against him. And Edgar takes a strike. The two-time batting champion hitting .350 with 11 homers, 42 runs batted in, leading the league in doubles, and on a pace to shatter the major league record for doubles in a season. He's on a pace to hit 88 doubles. He already has 26, which leads the league, and he has more doubles than singles. He has 26 doubles, 24 singles, and he got a hold of one Sunday off the Yankees' Dwight Gooden, hit it into the upper deck here at the Kingdome, becoming only the 6th player ever to accomplish that feat. This was a shot.
Oh, when he's on, he's really on. He's only one of just 5 right-handed hitters to win 2 batting titles in the last 50 years. Bill Madlock, Roberto Clemente, Hank Aaron, and Tommy Davis, the others.
And he's also completely out of the batter's box. Look where his right foot is. It's over the back line.
I don't know if we can get a shot of it, but
he's 10 doubles ahead of his teammate Alex Rodriguez.
See, they worked at erasing that back line, creep back as the game goes on.
I mean, that's pretty obvious there. He's way out of it.
Well, we've had the umpires check it. I know last year when I was coaching, you can really see it from the visitor's side dugout. Really, that toe is just on the line, and as you can see, it creeps back. And what it does, it takes away Scott Erickson's slider. He's so far back. By the time the ball gets there, it's too low.
High fly ball, straightaway center field. Brady Anderson lining it up. He makes the catch, and Griffey will hold at second.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 19, Jay Buhner.
Well, if the first series between these two teams was any indication, get ready for some fireworks. The first game, that series at Camden Yards, the Orioles won 14-13. Seattle led 13-10. Then with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, to count 3-2 to Chris Hoyles. He hit a grand slam home run off Norm Charlton to give the Orioles a 14-13 win. The next night, former Oriole Bob Milacki picked up the win as Seattle down the Orioles 7-3. And then on Sunday, the 19th, another high-scoring game as the Orioles outlasted the Mariners 8-7. And this man, Jay Buhner, hit 4 home runs in that series. 2 of them off Mike Messina.
You know, and 2 of the 3 games end up being 1-run games in that series, which, you know, at the end of the year when you log those numbers, you say, well, that's a pretty good pitching duel. But they're 14-13 and home runs galore.
And the game in which Mike Messina won, it was one of the worst outings of his career. He gave up 13 hits and 4 home runs. Still got the win. Buhner pops it up. Rafael Palmeiro near the mound. And he's got it, but the Mariners have tied it up on a double by Ken Griffey Jr., and it's a 1-1 game from the Kingdome. There's Lou Piniella, who did such a marvelous job last year. Great success story here in Seattle. Mariners overtaking the California Angels, beating them in a 1-game playoff, going to the Yankees and beating them before losing to the Cleveland Indians. But for all intents and purposes, they saved baseball in the city of Seattle. And now fans are turning out in record numbers as Cal Ripken leads off the second. And yes, he's playing shortstop, not third base. But the Mariners are averaging 34,000 this year, which are on a pace to draw 2.8 million, which would be a club record.
There's some talk last season certainly about moving the Mariners, rumored to go to Florida, a number of other places. But by I guess that dramatic series with the Angels, end of the year into postseason play, really played well postseason, beating the Yankees, rejuvenated the city.
And they've already sold out 5 times this year. Cal does not like the call by the plate umpire, Dave Phillips, and it's 1-2. And we've got a pretty good crowd here tonight on a night when the Seattle Supersonics are playing the Utah Jazz in Seattle with a chance to knock Utah out of contention in the Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah, almost overnight, it's turned into a sports town again.
25,000 plus expected for tonight's baseball game. Strike 3. Cal is called out on strikes.
Batting seventh, right fielder, number 11, Jeffrey Hammond.
Well, we noticed how Walcott wasn't using his breaking stuff the first inning, makes an adjustment. Paints the outside corner. Cal obviously looking for something else. Acknowledges that it's a strike. Get him next time.
Jeffrey Hammond's up for the first time, hitting .245 with 6 homers, 18 runs batted in. He takes a breaking ball for a strike.
And you can see with Walcott's delivery, very upright throughout the whole windup. See how straight stand up he is at the end of his delivery. Very difficult to get the ball down with that delivery. Very upright. Most pitchers have a nice finish.
And the Mariners pitching is very much in disarray right now. Of the original 5 who started the season in the rotation, only 2 of them are left. Bob Walcott and Sterling Hitchcock. Randy Johnson is on the disabled list and not getting any better. He hasn't thrown a ball in 3 weeks. He's got a bulging disc in his back, which has put pressure on a nerve and is not showing much improvement. Chris Bosio is also sidelined with a bad knee. Edwin Hurtado, who started the year in the rotation, has been sent back to AAA. There's Bosio on the left, and so the rotation now consists of Bob Walcott, Sterling Hitchcock, Solomon Torres, former Oriole Bob Malachy, and Paul Menhard, who was just recalled from AAA.
Oh, we're happy for Bob Malachy to get a chance, former Oriole, but they've really held it together with their offense.
Fouled back by Jeffrey Hammonds. The Orioles and the Mariners tied 1-1. Brady Anderson homered to start the game. Is that his 7th leadoff home run this year? Hammond strikes out. Well, Bob Walcott seems to be settling into a groove after struggling in the first, giving up a home run and a walk.
Well, the first inning's always the toughest, but Walcott, you can see, broke out the breaking ball this second inning. Looking pretty good pitch to Dan Wilson. Close enough he has to chase, with some bite or finish on the end of that breaking ball.
And here's Chris Hoiles, the hero of Game 1 between the Orioles and the Mariners last week at Camden Yards. His grand slam off Norm Charlton gave the Orioles a 14-13 win. Chris 1 for 3 against Bob Walcott. Got the fastball up, and it's hit into center field.
Well, clubbed in the center. You could hear the crack of the bat all the way up here. Sounded like it hit a rock.
Third baseman number 3, Bill Ripken.
I'll bring up the third baseman, Billy Ripken, who has made a very strong case for himself in the last 6 games, playing Gold Glove caliber defense at third base and also beginning to hit. He went 2 for 4 in Sunday's game against Oakland. And I think that's one of the reasons Davey Johnson decided not to make the change. Team has gone 11-4 over the last 15 games. Billy's doing a good job at third. And so Davey Johnson has stayed with the lineup with Cal Ripken at short, Billy at third. Manny Alexander is not in the lineup, although Davey was talking with the writers before the game and talking about Manny Alexander, saying how he thinks he's one of the best prospects in the organization. He's out of options now. He wishes he could get him in the lineup. He tried throughout spring training, playing him at second and third and even in the outfield. And he feels sorry for Manny and thinks he could really help the club, but he just doesn't want to make a change right now because the team is playing so well.
Well, now is not the time. The team is playing well. You don't want to jeopardize the chemistry of the club. It's been playing extremely well. Manny
got his fingers taped and ready to go. It's got to be frustrating for Manny, because I'm sure when Davey made the statement that he was going to move Cal to third and play Manny at short, Manny got his hopes up.
I'm sure he did.
But I still say I'll believe the move when I see it. I'm not sure it'll ever happen. Davey Johnson keeps saying it'll happen, but I don't think it'll happen this year. It's just my own feeling.
Yeah, I think it would take combination things, probably another poor winning streak, or the offensive part of the club goes into a funk, or other injuries, you don't know.
Bounce to third. The third baseman Davis backs up and throws across to first to retire Billy Ripken and the Orioles. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of an inning and a half, the Orioles and M's are tied 1-1. As Paul Sorrento leads off the second against Scott Erickson. Sorrento joining the Mariners from the Cleveland Indians and taking the place of Tino Martinez, who was traded to New York. And he's played well. He's hit 10 home runs and is hitting a respectable .286.
Yeah, he's filled the hole. You know, in at third base, they had Mike Blowers, who has gone on to the Los Angeles Dodgers and replaced Russ Davis at third base, who was with the Yankees. Saw Rick Down talking with Davis before the game, former pupil and disciple in New York.
2-0 to Paul Sorrento, who does have power, particularly against right-handed pitching. There's a strike on the outside corner. For much of his career, Sorrento has been platooned, but this year getting a chance to face more left-handers. That's outside, 3-1. Sorrento came up through the Minnesota Twins organization, but never had an opportunity there because they had Kent Hrbek playing first base for so many years. And then was traded to Cleveland.
Yeah, into his prime, now 30 years of age.
Swing and a miss.
You can see Chris Hoyles acknowledging the good sinker of Erickson. You know, so far has shown some inconsistency with that sinker, but the bottom just fell out of that one.
Like Scotty's beginning to sport a goatee as well.
Well,
Fu Manchu
seems to be going around. We saw Brady Anderson sporting one. I don't know if he still has it today.
Ground ball to Robbie Alomar. Takes it off the carpet on a big hop and throws out Sorrento.
Now that's the good sinker. He threw back-to-back quality sinkers. The bottom just falling out. Scotty gets in trouble when he gets his elbow down a little bit. The ball comes up in the strike zone and flattens out.
Dan Wilson, the Mariners catcher, coming up for the first time. Off to a fine start. Doing a good job behind the plate, throwing out runners and also hitting. He leads all American League catchers in home runs and RBIs with 9 homers, 32 runs batted in. He played for Lou Piniella in Cincinnati. Now reunited with him here, coming over last year.
Did a nice job with the pitching staff. Gaining postseason experience last year. This club is still a very young club. The average age of the starting lineup tonight is just 27 years old. Rodriguez just 20. Wilson 27.
Line shot just by Alomar. He almost had it. And a base hit for Dan Wilson, the third Mariner hit.
You know, to be successful against a good sinker baller like Scott Erickson, you really have to stay behind the ball. If you try to pull Scotty in that good sinker, you're going to do just what Sorrento did and roll over and ground out to second base. You see what Wilson does here. Stay behind the ball and drive it the other way. Keep that top hand down.
Robbie almost has that line drive. You're surprised when anything gets by him. He's so good.
Shows you how hard that ball was hit.
Russ Davis swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Davis has begun to hit after going through a slump. He was not hitting well when the Mariners came to Baltimore. He was acquired from the Yankees along with Sterling Hitchcock in the trade that sent Tino Martinez to New York. Never got really an opportunity in New York because Wade Boggs was ahead of him. So much of this game is being in the right place at the right time.
Timing is everything.
Strike 2. Davis spent several years at AAA playing for the Yankees Columbus farm team in the International League and had some big home run years. He hit 26 one year, 25 another. I guess you could liken his situation to that of Mark Smith of the Orioles, who's really proven all he can at AAA. 1-2. Orioles won, Mariners won, the opener of a brief 2-game series. From here, the Orioles will go to Anaheim for a 3-game set against the Angels.
This is a very tough 5-game swing.
And Davis strikes out.
See that good sinker there. When Scotty gets on top of that sinker and the ball breaks down, almost like a 12 on your clock to 6 o'clock, straight down. Very tough to hit it off. See this ball break straight down. And I say when it leaks out to the side and has a more of a 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock break, when he gets in trouble. But he's locked in the last 4 or 5 pitches. You see the hitters even saying, is that a legal pitch? And he has that kind of sinker when he's right.
And with 2 outs, here's the switch hitting second baseman Joey Cora for the first time. He takes a pitch low. Cora hitting .220 with 3 homers. All 3 home runs have come from the left side. And in his career, he's hit 9 home runs, all batting left-handed.
Not very good numbers of Scotty Erickson lifetime, 1 for 15.
Palmeiro spears it and takes it to the bag for the out. At the end of 2 innings from the Kingdome, the Orioles and the Mariners are tied 1-1. Third inning, Brady Anderson up for the second time. He homered off Bob Walcott to start the game. His 7th leadoff home run this year. Brady has already broken the club record for most leadoff homers in a season. The previous record was 5, set by Don Buford in 1971. He also set a major league record by leading off 4 consecutive games with a home run, April 18th through the 21st.
The 18th leadoff home run of his career.
Here's another look at it.
His fastball, not that bad of a pitch from Walcott. You know, the outside part of the plate, but belt high.
Brady hits this one high in the air to left and playable for Darren Bragg. You can see why outfielders have difficulty picking the ball up here, because you lose it as it goes up in the ceiling. The ceiling here is a gray color. There are a lot of speakers and stuff hanging from the ceiling, and it's hard to pick the ball up.
Oh, you just want the ceiling to stay up there, too.
Yeah. We were here 2 years ago when the ceiling literally fell. The sky is falling, said Chicken Little. But there were, before the game, there were a couple of chunks of the ceiling that fell into the seats. And then eventually they had to shut the Kingdome down and repair it. It cost millions of dollars. They didn't play in here the rest of the year. And then last year we came in here. Something always happens. Last year we came in here May 26th, and Ken Griffey Jr. broke his wrist colliding with the right center field fence trying to track down a drive off the bat of Kevin Bass. He did make the catch, but he paid for it. Line to left. Bragg hustles in to make the catch. And Luis Poloni is retired.
It looks like Walcott's going to pitch Poloni away and play him away as a team, getting right into the teeth of that defense.
Here comes the man with a magic wand, Roberto Alomar, who walked his first time up. But during this 12-game hitting streak, he's hit 500.
And that's scary.
His brother Sandy, who plays for the Indians, had a 19-game hitting streak earlier this year.
The year of the Alomar. Remember the Alomar.
How can you forget him? He's leading the league in batting average, hits, multi-hit games. Just missed as Walcott tries to nibble at the outside corner, and it's 2-1 to Robbie.
And that's some of the reasons why he'll be able to hit around 400 or suddenly make a good run at it. Has a good eye.
Trying to bunt his way on. He shows bunt, then takes a ball.
I mean, you watch, I know just a couple of pitches ago, most hitters look right out at the pitcher and don't really take their eyes off it, but he'll take a glance down at third. He did earlier in this count, just to see how deep he's playing.
Ground ball in the hole. Alex Rodriguez is up with it. Fires to first. Bounces it and gets it there in time to get Alomar. And a good pick at first base by Paul Sorrento. The Orioles go in order at the end of 2.5. It's tied 1-1. Top of the order coming up for the Mariners in the third. Darren Bragg, Alex Rodriguez, and Ken Griffey Jr. Bragg struck out his first time up, but he's been doing a fine job since being recalled from AAA Tacoma. Since coming up, he's hitting .339. Bounce to the plate by Erickson. Skipped right over the plate umpire, Dave Phillips. May have just grazed his shoulder.
Stay down, Davey. But going to run a long time, Davey Phillips.
Got him.
To the inside for check. That hurt.
That's low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Darren Bragg, who had 3 hits in the game against the Orioles May 17th at Camden Yards. Foul ball.
See, Bragg hadn't quite figured out that sinker.
Struck out a good one tonight.
Yeah, struck out on a good slider the first time. Probably the best slider Scotty's thrown in a while. Bragg hasn't had much success or sense either against Scott Erickson. Just 1 for 7 now lifetime.
Scotty has never won. He's pitched in 8 games here at the Kingdome and is 0-6 with a 7.22 earned run average. And coming into this game in 38 2/3 innings here, he'd given up 53 hits. So this park has not been kind to him. Probably reminds him of the Metrodome, where he pitched with the Twins. He much prefers pitching on natural grass.
Well, on artificial turf, he's 39 and 42, 3 games under 500 lifetime. Natural grass, he's 33 and 26, 7 games over.
He got that ball up, and Bragg lines it to right. But Jeffrey Hammonds makes the catch.
Shortstop, number 3, Alex Rodriguez.
One up, one down. That'll bring up Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop, who singled his first time up and then scored when Ken Griffey Jr. doubled him home. Hard to believe this kid is only 20. And the poise he displays. He was in the big leagues at the age of 18, the third 18-year-old to play in the big leagues to start the game at shortstop. The others were Tony La Russa with the Kansas City A's and Robin Yount with the Milwaukee Brewers. They were also 18.
I think Rodriguez has going for him. You check out the size. He's probably still going to grow some more. It looks like about 6'3", 6'4". He's more of the Ripken prototype of a shortstop.
Very popular with the teenage girls in Seattle. You can hear the screams, the teeny boppers, when his name was introduced in the batting order before the game. He said when he was attending high school in Miami, he never got a chance to go to his high school prom because he was always playing baseball. But he said he's had 40 or 50 invitations here in Seattle from high school girls who'd like to invite him to their prom.
Well, I think he might be busy this summer.
Yeah. Dave Phillips has taken a beating. That one got him too. We're only in the third inning. He's been hit twice.
Well, it's that sinker. They just hit the top of that sinker, and the umpires take a beating with a great sinker ball. All straight down, off the feet, in steps. Not much protection there.
Here's what they think of Alex Rodriguez here. Sexy baby, foxy.
Maybe we had to hook him up with Jason Giambi in Oakland. Likes to feel sexy when he hits.
Can you imagine being in the big leagues as a starter at the age of 20?
I couldn't have handled that. I was 23 when I arrived in the big leagues. I was only 20 out of college, and really,
he's not even old enough to go have a beer with his teammates.
No, but he certainly could buy a couple of rounds.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Rodriguez. 1 out, nobody on in the third. The Orioles and the Mariners are tied 1-1. Breaking ball, line foul. Rodriguez was all set to accept a scholarship to the University of Miami when the Mariners signed him. He convinced him that the quickest way for him to get to the big leagues would be bypassing college and signing a professional contract. Struck him out. So 3rd strikeout for Scott Erickson.
Center fielder, number 24, K.
Well, they used to call Ken Griffey Jr. the kid, but he's 26 now.
Oh, he's the old.
So who's the kid on this team? Is it Rodriguez or is it Griffey? Here's the catch, May 26, last year here at the Kingdome, as Kevin Bass hit one to deep right center. Best catch I've ever seen. Backhanding it, slamming into the wall, and breaking his wrist. And here's Randy Johnson's reaction.
I can't believe he made the catch, but then you have to worry, for one catch, are we going to lose him for 3 months? Just a great catch.
I did an informal poll the next day among the Oriole players and coaches and manager Phil Regan as to whether or not that was the best catch they'd ever seen, and almost unanimously they agreed it was, except for Matt Noakes, who said, no, that's not the best catch he's ever made. He made a better one against me in New York when I was playing for the Yankees.
Well, he remembers it well because he was robbed of a hit.
But Lou Piniella was saying before the game that Griffey is better now. When he was in Baltimore, he really wasn't hitting much for average. But the wrist is stronger now. He's got his confidence back, and he's hitting. He's raised his average to 298.
And the scary thing is he's just 26 years old. Already has 1,000 hits in the book.
200 home runs.
Couple hundred home runs. Scary.
Line, but caught by Alomar. Going airborne to pick it off. What a play. He takes a base hit away from Ken Griffey Jr. At the end of 3, the Orioles and the Mariners are tied 1-1. Welcome Welcome back to the Kingdom. Mel Proctor with Mike Flanagan bringing you tonight's game from Seattle. The Orioles and Mariners are tied 1-1, and Rafael Palmeiro will lead off the fourth against Bob Walcott. It looked like he wouldn't be around long in the first inning when he gave up a leadoff homer to Brady Anderson. Lined and caught by the first baseman Paul Sorrento.
Well, both teams are going up hacking. Hasn't taken much time to go through the first 3 innings here. Not very deep in the count. Both sides.
That was the kiss of death when you said this game is moving right along.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
I think the last time you said that was the 14-13 game.
That was Jim that said it. It wasn't me.
Oh, you weren't there.
No, I was home.
You've missed some of the long ones.
I give those to Jim. Jim's, you know, he has much more lasting qualities than I have. He can go that long.
Bobby Bonilla hits a high fly ball to shallow left. Could be trouble, and that's in there for a base hit. It bounces over Darren Bragg's head. Bonilla's into second base, and he'll hold there with a double. A Kingdom double.
And that's why, you know, so many points are put on the board in this ballpark. You got to make a decision to go in and either catch the ball or back up far enough. It's kind of a Three Stooges move where you go, run in and back he has to go. Retrieve. Because in most parks, if that ball hits on normal surface, it doesn't bounce over your head.
Oh, Larry, a bounce. AstroTurf.
That's a pitcher's nightmare. We try to hit a little fly ball.
And Bobby Bonilla looks out to Darren Bragg and says,
thank you very little.
Cal Ripken up with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. He struck out his first time up. The Orioles with a chance to take the lead. Cal takes a strike. Cal has moved around the batting order. Tonight he's hitting 6th, but here's what he's done depending upon where he's hit. Batting 5th, hitting .313. Batting 6th, hitting only .145, and has not had a lot of at-bats hitting 7th, but he's 4 for 8 in that spot. And he hits this one high and deep to left. Back goes Darren Bragg to the warning track. It's gone. A 2-run homer by Cal Ripken gives the Orioles a 3-1 lead. His 4th home run of the season.
That's a great formula for success. A bloop, double by Bobby Bonilla. Walcott makes a bad pitch. And the amazing thing and how good a veteran hitter Cal Ripken is, his first time up, Walcott strikes him out on this pitch. He went up there second time looking for it and didn't miss it.
Congratulations all around for Cal Ripken.
Remember the first time up, he struck out on this breaking ball away, and Cal goes out and looks for it, gets it, and doesn't miss it.
And it looks like the home runs are beginning to come for Cal. He hit one Saturday off Doug Johns of Oakland, and now connects again the opener of this series.
He's really played, he's always Mr. Steady in the field, but swinging the bat much better. Of late, it seems like his defense has actually picked up a notch.
You think that could have anything to do with Davey Johnson's proposed move of Cal to third?
I think it's directly related. Cal's had a tremendous amount of, in any position, once the threat of losing your position, you try and push it up another level. And Cal's taken his game to another level. This is another reason why, no move to third base.
And I mentioned to Davey Johnson, we likened his proposed move of Cal to third to a new CEO taking over a corporation and looking over things, seeing the way people are doing their job, and saying, well, maybe we should make some changes. We'll move this guy to a new job, or we'll let a couple of people go. It gets everybody's attention, heightens the attention, and gets more productivity. Davey said, I like that analogy. Jeffrey Hammonds draws a walk. Since retiring the leadoff batter Rafael Palmeiro on a line drive to first, Bob Walcott has given up a double to Bobby Bonilla, a 2-run homer to Cal Ripken, and has now walked Hammonds.
And Palmeiro led off with a bullet to first base.
This is the second time through the order, so maybe they have him figured out. Chris Hoyle singled his first time up.
What happened? It's a game of constant adjustments. Walcott came out throwing pretty much just fastballs, and he makes the adjustment, comes out, throws his breaking ball to get through the second and third inning. Next time around, the Orioles go up and they start looking for the breaking ball. But for Walcott to be successful, he has to mix his pitches. He just can't go exclusively breaking ball or exclusively fastballs. It's a mix.
Strike one to Chris Hoyle. 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Seattle, and Rafael Carmona is throwing in the Mariner bullpen. All of the Oriole runs have come via the long ball. Brady Anderson hit a solo to start the game, and Cal Ripken just hit a 2-run homer moments ago. That's inside. And the count is 1-1 to Chris Hoiles.
Well, the Mariners.
Jersey Bob Walcott on the verge of a knockout.
Yeah, almost got KO'd in the first, come back off the ropes. Now he's back on the ropes again.
Many of you remember a fighter named Jersey Joe Walcott. Bob Walcott is not from New Jersey, though. He's from Medford, Oregon.
Doesn't have the same ring.
No. Medford Bob Walcott.
Yeah.
So the new Dodge pitching update. Walcott has thrown 57 pitches so far, 30 strikes, 27 balls.
Not a real good ratio. Yeah, the amount is not bad.
And he goes 2-1 to Chris Hoiles. Pitching very tentatively, though.
Well, the innings that he struggled, that's what he's done. The other innings, he's been aggressive in the strike zone. We said it in the open. And if he challenges hitters with his pitches and mixes them, he has a chance to be successful.
Hoiles pops it foul. It's 2-2 to Chris. We have some folks from Baltimore who would like to say hello to people back home. Kerry Stockslager and Randy Brown are in Seattle this week visiting their uncle Hollins Steerhoff from Owings Mill, Maryland. Hollins and his wife Melanie are here with Kerry and Randy at the game. They say hello to everybody back home. And also Ron and Kathy Metzger, Dave McRogan, Rick Wolf, Rich Gedhegan, and Tony Glorioso. Say hello to everybody back home. Chris Hoiles strikes out swinging.
That's a hanging breaking ball. I have to say hi real quick to my wife Alex back home and our next door neighbor Pam. You know, you go on the road and you want to gas up the cars and make sure the trash is out and all that good stuff. And what happened, his to pitch to Chris, it's really a hanging breaking ball. But we have two 2,000-pound cows in our field, and they got out this morning. Never fails, you go away, and they're out in the street. So Alex and Pam had to bring him back in with a dog leash. And she said it was quite an amusing picture to see a 2,000-pound cow being led around by a leash.
Sort of like the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain.
They don't run real well. They chase the clover. You know, how do you call a cow? You know,
do these cows have names?
No, they don't have names. Actually, they're friends of ours that they're trying to be impregnated, so they keep them away from the rest of the flock.
Their whole story.
Well, you asked me, so I told you.
This is.
But they got out. They were going for a clover bush, so it never fails. You leave home for 4 or 5 hours, and the cows get out.
Yeah, I've had that trouble more than once. Billy Ripken takes a pitch high and away, and it's 1-1. He grounded to third his first time up. Orioles 3, Mariners 1. Speaking of cows, I love that billboard that the Milk Marketing Association had up last year. As you entered Camden Yards, there was a billboard with some cows standing out in the field, and it said, "I believe the guys in the field wish you the best or say congratulations." Chris Cal has been a spokesman for the Milk Marketing Association for years. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Billy Ripken. Maybe you should name your cow Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken. It was worse when we had 2 Burrows. That was worse.
Can't wait to hear that. This is well hit down the left field line. It's hooking and foul. Billy Ripken just missing his first home run of the year. These two teams are 1 and 2 in home runs. Seattle leading the major leagues in home runs. Coming in, they'd hit 84. The Orioles hit 70 and have added 2 to that total tonight. They're up to 72. Foul back.
Well, you see this park very conducive to home runs. Camden Yards very conducive. I mean, the thing that's kind of scary is the Yankees atop the American League in batting only have 40 home runs. Mariners with twice as many. 49% of their runs have scored via the home run. Both these clubs can strike quickly.
Billy fouls another one off. B.J. Surhoff is scheduled to come off the disabled list on Sunday. I don't know if he's quite ready yet. But that'll force the Orioles to make a move of some sort.
Yeah, today was the first day. Saw him out during early batting practice, taking ground balls at third. The first time we've seen that.
He's been out with a badly sprained ankle.
Okay, and a terrible gash in his ear from that play at first base in that series.
Just low, and it's 3-2 to Billy Ripken. So Jeffrey Hammonds will be running on the pitch. The Orioles lead 3-1. Sharon Stearns whispering in Jeffrey's ear, saying, "Have a nice journey.
See you at home."
Hammonds runs, and Billy pops another one foul. Battling tough against Bob Walcott.
Kind of a dangerous pitch, you think, 3-2. Ninth place hitter in the lineup, Brady Anderson, who's swinging the bat real well.
There's Sam Perlazzo, who was with the Seattle Mariners last year. Enjoyed the success here. Coming back. He'll be here briefly, and then I think tomorrow he'll have to fly back to Maryland to attend his daughter's high school graduation. John Stearns, the first base coach. And Stearnsy will take over at third tomorrow for Sam Perlazzo. Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez has it. Fires to first in time. What an arm. But the Orioles regain the lead on a 2-run homer by Cal Ripken. It's the Orioles 3, the Mariners 1. Scott Erickson ready to go in the fourth, facing Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, and Paul Sorrento. 3 sluggers. All 3 of them in double figures in home runs this year. Edgar Martinez has hit 11, Buhner 16, and Sorrento has 10. Edgar used to play third base, now strictly a designated hitter. Had some injury problems, a pulled hamstring and a bad knee. And now he just swings the bat, and few do it better.
Well, actually, early last season, we came in here, the Orioles looking for a third baseman. Leo Gomez struggling. Jeff Manto struggled some. And Edgar may have been available for the right deal. But it seems like he started to hit. That the Orioles really looking for a third baseman, someone who could play in the field, having Harold Baines as the left-handed DH.
There's an old saying in baseball, sometimes the best trade is the one you don't make. I'm sure the Mariners would agree with that.
Exactly right.
Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Scotty Erickson's got a nasty sinker tonight.
Yeah, when you have hitters like Edgar Martinez swinging over the top of the ball, and the thing is, it's down and in the strike zone. Not much Edgar can do with this. His 2-strike plan is usually try to hit the ball the other way. Just can't get inside of this ball to do anything with it. Pretty much locked up. And that's a quality pitch right there.
Strikeout number 4 for Scott Erickson. It brings up Jay Buhner, who popped to the first baseman. Rafael Palmeiro, his first time up.
What he's been able to do is to get the ball in on these tough, powerful right-handed hitters in the Mariners lineup. Martinez.
There's what Buhner has done against the Orioles this year. He's hit 4 home runs. Hit 1 off Alvin Mills, another off Roger McDowell, and 2 off Mike Messina. And Scott Erickson has fallen behind on him 2-0.
Pretty much a cult figure here in Seattle. I think they had the shave the head night here. Anybody?
Yeah, Jay Buhner buzz cut night last year. We were here for that. Attracted about close to 1,000 extra people that they wouldn't have gotten, and that was during a time when they were not drawing well. But there were all these people with shaved heads, and they had a barber set up outside the ballpark. If you shaved your head, you got in free. And Buhner took his son, who I guess, I don't know, was 4 or 5 years old, took him out there and had his head shaved. There were even women who had their head shaved.
Well, they had the whole right field section behind Buhner was full of this hairless people.
Ball 4. Buhner draws a walk. First walk given up by Scott Erickson tonight. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate in Paul Sorrento.
First baseman, number 44, Paul Sorrento.
Who has hit Erickson pretty well, 308 lifetime. And you can see Scotty shaking his head. He's upset because he put Buhner on and now has to face the tying run.
Right. And Sorrento looked pretty good at bat against him last time. He got him to roll over, though, and ground out to second base. See the numbers against left-handed pitching not real well, not real good for Sorrento.
Ball 1.
You hate to walk anybody in this ballpark where the ball flies, and that's how big innings happening. You walk Buhner. Palmeiro now has to hold him on first base, creating quite a hole on that right side.
And Scotty falls behind 2-0 on a dangerous hitter. 2-0 to Sorrento, who's capable of tying it with one swing.
You see the hole on that side. Really, Alomar, the only fielder between right fielder Jeffrey Hammonds. A lot of real estate.
Half swing and he went around. 2-1.
Well, you can see how late, when Scotty throws that sinker correctly, how quickly it breaks down the strike zone. It goes about 3/4 of the way in at one level and then just dives. And you see the difference. You tell the way Chris Hoiles actually catches the ball, drives your glove down.
And a good sinker baller, a guy who throws a hard sinker baller, can be a catcher's worst nightmare because your hand takes a beating.
Yeah, the thumbs is what happens. You know, you ask Greg Zahn and Chris Hoiles who's the toughest to catch, and they'll say by far Scott Erickson.
Chopped foul, 3-2 to Paul Sorrento.
His ball runs, it cuts. You know, some sinkers are better than others. He has a hard slider, late breaking slider.
Looks like Cal Ripken just said something to Scott Erickson. Maybe making a suggestion as to what he should throw here.
It's a possibility.
Base hit for Sorrento, and Buehler goes to second.
Well, as we talked about, you know, when you walk Buehler, and that's why Scott Erickson was shaking his head, because he creates that hole. Now the ground ball that would normally be right at the first baseman goes into right field. Hammond's doing a good job. You see how fast the ball gets onto the outfielder. He really can't even get to third base.
Now here's Dan Wilson, who has cooled off a bit in May, had a red-hot April, hitting .307 with 7 homers. In fact, the Mariners as a team hit 44 home runs in April to set a major league record. Pitching coach Pat Dobson goes out to talk with Erickson.
Well, just trying to stay out of the big inning here. You know, if you get in trouble now, let's go to that sinker, keep the ball down. One good pitch, you can stay out of this. Really don't want the big inning to develop. The thing is, the Mariners lead the American League with home runs, 84, but they ground into the fewest double plays in the league. Kind of a strange pairing. Many times when you swing for the fences, you ground into it, a lot of double plays.
Scotty collecting his thoughts. He tries to get out of this jam, facing Dan Wilson with runners at first and second and 1 out. The Orioles lead 3-1. Wilson singled his first time up. Buehler getting his lead at second. Paul Sorrento is at first. Ground ball to Cal Ripken. He'll take it himself. Steps on the bag. Fires to first. Just what the doctor ordered. A 6-3 double play to end the inning. The end of 4. The Orioles lead the Mariners 3-1. Swing and a miss by Brady Anderson. Looked like Walcott threw him a changeup.
Well, he's seen nothing but fastballs away from Walcott.
Brady homered off Walcott to start the game.
Actually came back with the same pitch he hit for a homer and got Brady to fly off to left.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brady. He's raised his average to .327. Grounded to first. Sorrento has it. 1 out.
Left fielder Luis
That'll
Polonia.
bring up Luis Polonia, the left fielder, who has grounded to second and lined to left. Polonia was the property of the Seattle Mariners. They signed him, and over the winter brought him to camp. He had a good spring. Thought he had the club made, and then they cut him loose, and he was very upset about it. He felt it was a matter of dollars. They were apparently wanted to go with some younger players that they could pay less. They've kept an eye on the dollar here in Seattle. As they've rewarded their star players like Ken Griffey Jr. and Jay Buhner, but over the years several moves have been made based on the dollar.
Well, things may be able to change now with starting to win. Postseason experience last season. You see how attendance is up this year. All those factors lead to a little bit more income for the ball club.
0-2 to Luis Polonia. Orioles 3, Mariners 1. We thought this would be a slugfest. In a way, it has been. There have been a couple of home runs, but it's a low-scoring game, 3-1.
Well, a couple of home runs. But so far, really, both starters able to stay out of the big inning. You always have a chance. You know, you give them one here or there. You know, if they hit a home run, make it be a solo.
Slapped to third. Russ Davis is up with it. And a close play, but he throws out Polonia. Well, on the day he pitches, Scott Erickson sits by himself, doesn't say much to anyone, wears all black, black shoes, black socks. His glove is completely black. And his former teammate Kevin Tapani described Erickson's day of pitching as the day of death.
Well, he's very quiet anyways, I would say, but he likes to isolate himself on game day.
I asked him once, why do you wear all black? And he said, because black is my favorite color. He obviously didn't want to go into it. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Robbie Alomar, who has walked and grounded out. Took a fine play by Alex Rodriguez to get him in the third. Walcott tries a breaking ball, and it's high, 2-1. Fastball is high, 3-1 to Robbie Alomar. He's got enough power in a situation like this. If he gets his pitch, he can turn on it and hit it out. He's hit 5 of his 7 home runs left-handed. That's high, and Walcott walks in for the second time.
And that's why Alomar has a chance to hit around 400. You know, he doesn't swing at bad pitches, takes a walk, can bunt, can run, switch hitter, line drive hitter, an intelligent hitter.
Rafael Palmeiro up for the third time. He's fly to deep right and line to the first baseman. He's dropped below the 300 mark, now hitting 296. Still haven't come up with a name for the 300 mark. The 200 level is known as the Mendoza line, in fact named after Mario Mendoza, who spent several years here in Seattle as their shortstop. And that term originated when Mario was playing here. One day he'd be over 200, then he'd go over 3, and he'd drop down to 198. That went on for quite a while, and 2 of his teammates, Bruce Bochy and Tom Pashort, were being interviewed one night, and they referred to it as the Mendoza line. George Brett of the Royals picked up the saying. He liked it. He began to use it in television interviews, and it's become part of the baseball lexicon, the Mendoza line.
Well, it used to be in the Sunday paper. They would list, you know, the best hitter in the league all the way down to the last player in the league, and Mario Mendoza, you know, for it seemed like forever, was the lowest, had the lowest batting average in the league. So he was holding up the whole league, and therefore became the Mendoza line.
But Mario's career batting average was actually much higher than 200, like about 239, something like that. He's now managing the Angels AA club in Midland, Texas.
Well, he left his mark on the game, you know, whether it's good or bad, he left a mark. Always be remembered. He's by us. He's by us.
That's hit high and deep down the right field line. It's trouble, but it's going to hook, and it's foul. Just foul. Rafi just missed the home run.
Well, first time up, he just hit one off the end of the bat and flew out to deep right. Next time up, he lines out to third. So, you know, he's dipped below the 300 mark, but that's classic Rafi swing. Just a question of fair or foul. His balance, and there's really not much to go wrong with Rafi's swing. And what he hates about it is that, you know, he got a nice pitch to hit and he just pulled it foul. He has such a relaxed swing, and the ball just jumps off his bat. And it's all in sync.
Sorrento holding Robbie Alomar at first. Robbie has stolen 7 bases in 8 attempts.
And you would think that this would be a situation where you can move Alomar.
Palmeiro scalds another one into the Oriole bullpen. That has him scattering. Greg Zahn says, hit it fair.
Cleaned him out down there. It might have hit Zahn. He's supposed to be paying attention down here. Had him pinned in. You know, see, that's a catcher. The difference between a catcher and a pitcher. All the pitchers went the other way.
Hit the right guy, though. He's got shin guards on.
I think he, it just shows you he turned away the shin guard.
Palmeiro sends this one to deep right center field. This has a chance, and it's gone. A 2-run homer by Rafael Palmeiro makes it 5-1. His 11th home run of the year. So after pulling a drive foul, he gets this one into right center. And the Orioles are up by 4 runs.
Oh, it makes this work, really is the 2-out walk from Alomar. Puts pressure on the pitcher. He's in the stretch. And Rafi's just had a number of good swings. Just missed one this at bat, a home run. Keeps his concentration.
All of the Orioles' runs have come on home runs. Cal Ripken and Rafael Palmeiro with 2-run homers. Brady Anderson with a solo, and it's 5-1. Bobby Bonilla hits it hard, a one-hopper to Joey Cora, and he throws him out for the 3rd out. But the Orioles get 2 more on the blast by Palmeiro, and now lead the Mariners 5-1. Scott Erickson pitching well through 4 innings. He'll face Russ Davis, Joey Cora, and Darren Bragg in the 5th. The Orioles up 5-1. First pitch is grounded just foul down the left field line by Russ Davis.
I think you have to give credit where credit is due. Pat Dobson made a, I guess maybe uncharacteristic trip to the mound last inning. The next pitch, Erickson gets on top, throws a quality sinker for a double play.
See, Scotty has thrown 63 pitches so far. The pitch count is not as crucial with him as it is some of the other pitchers. Brady Anderson tracking it, dives and makes the catch, and may have hurt his left hand or wrist. They've got a turf burn.
Well, the turf is unforgiving. You pretty much stop on a dime. You don't slide like you do on the natural surface.
He knows how Steve Largent feels now, the great wide receiver from the Seahawks.
I don't understand how you can play football on this. I really don't. What happens is ball knuckles at the end, just takes a severe left towards left field. Really a terrific play by Brady.
Joey Cora steps in and takes a strike from Scott Erickson. Cora grounded to Rafael Palmeiro his first time up. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for the Mariners. The pitching is starting to come around. Kent Merker's last outing was very encouraging. They've got Erickson back in good health. He's throwing well tonight.
Well, they weathered the storm, with David Wells out with the bad toe, Erickson out with the ankle.
Popped up, shallow left field, and Luis Polonia will have the play.
The offense really carried the club during that streak, and the defense. These things run in cycles. What you'd like now is the pitching to pick up. This is a tough trip. California, very much an offensive ball club. Seattle, time for the pitching to step forward.
Scott Erickson has scattered 4 hits and allowed just 1 run tonight. That came in the 1st inning when Ken Griffey Jr. doubled in Alex Rodriguez. And we go to the top of the order for Darren Bragg, who struck out and lined to right. We mentioned Erickson is 0-6 lifetime here at the Kingdome. Does that get to be a psychological barrier that you have to overcome when you've not pitched well in a particular stadium?
You do. Let's face it, you know what your track record is in certain towns against clubs, who hits you, who doesn't hit you. Many times I always felt it's not so much the ballpark, but the mound. Certain mounds you just feel real comfortable on. Others never seem to feel comfy.
Well, here in Seattle, you have to deal with the coffee factor, too.
The coffee factor?
Yeah, there's a coffee joint on every corner here.
Oh, there is. This is the coffee
capital. You can overdo the caffeine here.
Yeah.
Starbucks and Seattle's best coffee. And
yeah,
I've never seen a place where people walk around with coffee as much as they do here. And they're congenial too. They're not. I think that much caffeine would
they're just
cause
wired.
them to be very irritable.
They're just wired.
They're fairly calm. I guess they get used to the caffeine. They're drinking decaf. Bounce foul off first base. But this is a great city, beautiful city, Seattle, and I understand it's one of the fastest growing areas in the country. Many people from California are moving here.
The great Northwest. There's a place not far from here, Snoqualmie Falls. The thing that always amazed me about it wasn't discovered to something like 1860. It's like an East Coast, but much younger. It's discovery time.
Speaking of discovering, I understand you discovered a star at lunch today.
Well, we had lunch, and sitting next to Chris Glass and Derek Manning today was Robert Guillaume from, I guess, Benson fame. He said he was in town to do a mini-series, and we said, so are we. 2-game series here in Seattle. And I said very much how he likes Camden Yards, the old-style ballpark, beautiful setting. And we said we like Benson very much.
And a 2-out walk to Darren Bragg. Second walk allowed by Scott Erickson.
Shortstop Alex.
See pitching coach Pat Dodson with the pitch counter in his left hand, keeping track.
But I mentioned earlier that the pitch count is not as crucial with Erickson because he is a big, strong kid. He's a horse.
Yeah,
he goes up over 120, 130 pitches. Doesn't bother him usually.
Yeah, he's one of those that between starts can throw 20, 25 minutes at least. And most try to keep it around 10, 12 minutes, but he wants to make sure that sinker is there.
0-1 to Alex Rodriguez, who singled and struck out. Lou Piniella was saying how much he likes Alex Rodriguez. He's dedicated. He has a great work ethic. Spent a lot of time with the hitting coach, Lee Elia. There goes the runner. Throw to second base by Hoyles. Goes into center field. Well, Darren Bragg steals second base, his 7th steal of the year. I think he's, quite frankly, surprised the Orioles running in this situation.
Yeah, down a few runs against manager Lou Piniella, just trying to make something happen. Gets a walking lead. The thing Alomar does here, he just sort of stands there as if he has the ball in his glove, keeping Bragg at second base.
Chris Hoyles has only thrown out 6 of 35 opposing base stealers, less than 20%. One ball, one strike to Rodriguez as Bragg gets into scoring position. The Orioles are ahead 5-1.
Well, by doing that, just allows them to get one single to get a run.
And there's a base hit down the left field line. That'll bring Bragg home. And it's 5-2 Orioles. Second hit of the game for Alex Rodriguez.
Well, this is a 2-out walk to Alomar. Last inning hurt Bob Walcott. 2-out walk by Erickson. Does the same. That's a pretty good sinker by Erickson, down and in. Like I said, I'm sure it doesn't take much to get the ground ball by the infielders.
A double for Alex Rodriguez, who's second in the league in doubles. That's his 17th. A distant second.
Well, he's really responded to hitting in front of Ken Griffey Jr. His numbers have gone way up since moving to the second spot. Gets a lot more fastballs in that position.
He was hitting .441, batting second over a 15-game stretch entering tonight's game, and he's 2 for 3 tonight. And he admits that with Griffey hitting behind him, it helps him because they're not going to pitch around Rodriguez to get to Griffey or Edgar Martinez, and he sees a lot of fastballs.
Yeah, same with Poloni and the Oriole lineup.
He says they don't throw me any 2-0, 3-1 sliders. They come after me with the hard stuff.
For a young hitter like Rodriguez, a tremendous advantage. But here's a tough situation for Scott Erickson. First base is open, but Buhner on deck, or Edgar Martinez on deck. Tough right-handed hitter. No breaks in the middle of this Mariner lineup.
And Erickson goes 2-0 to Ken Griffey Jr., who's 1 for 2 and has hit the ball hard twice. He doubled in a run in the first and hit a shot headed for right field in the third inning that Robbie Alomar caught. Hitting almost 500 lifetime against Erickson. He's now 18 for 37 lifetime against Scott.
And that's a significant number of at-bats. Determine that someone hits real well against you.
Low ball 3. And the only problem with pitching around Griffey with first base open here is that Edgar Martinez hits Erickson almost as well as Griffey does.
Right. And so what you have to do is play it out to who's the hottest of late and who do you feel the most comfortable with. You see a 2-0 slider from Erickson, not giving in to Junior.
There's a strike and it's 3-1.
You know, Edgar's at least so far anyways tonight. Erickson's handled him rather easily. Easy fly ball to center and a K, so we don't want to give in to Griffey here. Make him hit a tough pitch.
Vicious swing. He tried to park that one, and it's 3-2.
Well, he was swinging to the count. He was anticipating something over the plate. Starts to bat early to try to get the head out. This ball's by Griffey. Thought he put a little extra on the 3-1 pitch. Interesting to see here what he goes with. Will he go with the slider?
That's high, ball 4, and he walked it. Third walk allowed by Erickson, the second in this inning, and now more trouble coming up, and Edgar Martinez, who represents the tying run. Scotty has handled him tonight. He's tried to center and struck out, but Martinez is 11 for 25 lifetime against Scott Erickson.
Well, you hate to say Edgar's due, but he's such a good hitter. Really, both at bats, Scotty's been able to get inside on him, and you saw it in that clip that we had of a home run off Gooden. Edgar's the kind of hitter that adjusts. Will he look inside this time?
Scotty works him away, and it's ball 1 to Edgar Martinez, the two-time batting champ.
You know, just as Cal Ripken, you know, Walcott gets him out with a curveball first time up, second time up, he goes up there and looks for it.
Darren Bragg is at second base. Make that Alex Rodriguez. And Ken Griffey Jr. at first. 5-2 Orioles.
And now Martinez represents the tying run.
And he drills it to right field and deep. Jeffrey Hammonds leaps and can't come up with it. Rodriguez is in to score. Here comes Griffey, and the throw to the plate is too late. 5-4 Mariners. Mariners cutting the Oriole lead to a run. A double for Edgar Martinez, who leads the league in doubles. That's his 27th two-base hit of the year. And it's 5-4 Orioles.
I see the target from Orioles is inside. The ball doesn't ever get back to that part of the plate. Hammonds looks like he had a pretty good shot at it. So it went off his glove. The problem there, he really met the wall at the same time the ball arrived. It was off the top of his glove. Very similar looking play to the one we showed with Ken Griffey Jr.
There's the doubles master, though. Edgar Martinez, who has 27 on his current pace. He would have 88 doubles, which would wipe out the Major League record of 67 set by Earl Webb back in 1931.
Well, what happened, we saw pitching coach Pat Dobbs and Arthur Rhodes up throwing in the bullpen, but this is more of a stall type of a meeting. Last inning had a purpose. Erickson in trouble, 1 out, gets a double play ball after a walk and a single. And this inning, really the base on balls coming back into play, which had not been the case up until last inning.
Erickson retired the first 2 hitters in the inning when he walked Darren Bragg, who stole second. Alex Rodriguez doubled him home. Ken Griffey Jr. walked, and Edgar Martinez hit a 2-run double to make it 5-4 Orioles. Now another tough customer coming up in Jay Buhner. Edgar Martinez has now driven in 44 runs this year. Ball 1 to Buhner, who's popped to first and walked.
Not surprising at all that Arthur Rhodes gets up in the bullpen. Arthur has some terrific numbers against some of the better hitters in this Mariner lineup.
And the next man up for Seattle after Buhner is a left-handed hitter, Paul Sereno. And it looks like Scott Erickson has lost it. Well, that's 2 hits and 2 walks and 3 runs in this inning.
Well, and that's what happens, you know, and that's what the layoff is. It's more or less a durability question, or how durable he is, how far can he go. He hasn't been out there in a couple of weeks. Stamina might not be what it was.
A shot to left, and Polonia can't get it. He gets by him and rolls to the wall. Martinez comes in to score to tie it up. The Mariners have scored 4 times in the 5th to tie the game at 5.
You see how quickly it can happen. We spoke in the open about trying to stay away from the beginning, and how do you do that? It's not walking people. This inning, Davis and Cord. This ball, last time up, Erickson pitches him on the inside part of the plate. The hitters make the adjustment. He looks in this time. Nike's won the left. Your defense has to be a little tentative, and you think about the play Brady Anderson made leading off the inning.
And Davey Johnson leaves Erickson in to face a left-hand hitting Paul Sorrento, who doesn't hit much at all against left-handers, but does against right-handers.
Well, I think what this is more about is that Arthur's not ready. I think it's happened so quickly. Arthur is just not there.
Time called. A ball got loose from the Seattle bullpen.
But Arthur really didn't get up until Pat Dobson won out to have a conversation.
Well, Rhodes doing his best to get ready in a hurry. Sorrento hits a ground ball into right field for a base hit. Here comes Buhner around third. The throw by Jeffrey Hammonds is not in time. Mariners take the lead 6-5. Well, Davey Johnson couldn't get Arthur Rhodes ready in time to come in and face Sorrento. He had to let Erickson face him, and he gives up a base hit and a go-ahead run.
Well, that's how fast it all happened. A couple of walks, the walk to Griffey, and then really Edgar Martinez, Buhner back-to-back, and then Sorrento. All in the course of about 5 pitches.
That'll do it for Scott Erickson as the roof fell in the 5th. And it's time now for the Bell Atlantic call to the bullpen. Arthur Rhodes takes over for Scott Erickson. Erickson giving up 5 runs. All with 2 outs in the 5th, and Rhodes takes over with a runner at second base, Paul Sorrento. He'll face Dan Wilson, the 9th hitter to come up in this inning. The Mariners are up 6-5. The Orioles led 5-1 into this inning, and then the Mariners erupted with 2 outs.
Got 2 outs, nobody on. Even Brady making a great play to start the inning off. Could have been in more trouble.
Ball 1 to Dan Wilson. Arthur Rhodes had perhaps the best outing of the season against the Seattle Mariners on Sunday, May 19th at Camden Yards. Relieving Mike Messina in 2 innings. He allowed no runs on 1 hit and struck out 5.
And he had the best fastball he's had this season, like the Arthur of old.
But he throws a fastball by Wilson.
The big difference I see in Arthur Rhodes this year is you watch his control. Games that he's pitched extremely well, he's been able to wear out that outside corner. And he has the same velocity he had before the surgery. But to me, his control is better. He's a year older, a year more mature.
Way inside, that backs Wilson off the plate. It's 2-1.
Yeah, he runs him off the plate with the slider. So the intent really is to get Wilson out of the way. But the reason Arthur is the first one up, he just has some terrific numbers against a hard disorder. Ken Griffey Jr. 1 for 15. Jay Buhner 3 for 14.
But they've already hit in this inning.
Yeah, but
swing and a miss by Wilson.
But they're going to come around again. What you're hoping is that
here's Arthur Rhodes that day against the Mariners at Camden Yards.
Check where the glove is.
Here it is, boys. Hit it. Nothing but heat. He punches out Griffey. 5 strikeouts in 2 innings for Arthur. And Rhodes puts out the fire, fanning Dan Wilson. But the Mariners score 5 times off Scott Erickson to take a 6-5 lead through 5 innings. Rafael Carmona is the new pitcher coming out in the 6th. Bob Walcott went 5 innings. He allowed 5 runs on 5 hits, walked 2, struck out 2, and gave up 3 home runs. And now Carmona takes over. Carmona's hits to innings pitch ratio very good at 22 in the 3rd innings. Allowed only 16 hits. Walked quite a few, though. He's walked 18.
Yeah, high numbers on both sides. This park very conducive. It's hard to rate pitchers in this ballpark.
Carmona was recalled from AAA Tacoma on April the 24th. He'll face Cal Ripken, Jeffrey Hammonds, and Chris Hoyles, 3 right-handed batters in the 6th for the Orioles. They try to regain the lead.
They're wasting a 5-1 advantage. Mariners striking quickly.
Cal has struck out and hit a 2-run homer off Bob Walcott, facing Carmona for the first time tonight.
Well, he's 0 for 2 lifetime.
And this is well hit to center field. Ken Griffey Jr. makes the catch. That's where you want him to hit it in this ballpark if they have to hit it.
Yeah, F8s. You always mean you have a pretty good fastball. Make him beat you over that 405-foot mark and keep it away from those, 312, 330 foul lines.
1 down. Jeffrey Hammond steps in. He struck out and walked. Facing 23-year-old Rafael Carmona, who's from Puerto Rico. Last year he got into 15 games for the Mariners and was 2-4. Used primarily in relief, but he did make 3 starts. Speaking of pitching, the Mariners made a move today. They put Tim Davis on the disabled list with a broken leg. He got hurt Sunday covering first base. Broke his fibula, and veteran Lee Guterman was recalled today from AAA.
Hang around the game a long time if you're a left-hander. You can throw the ball over the plate. There's Lee, 6'8". Pitched with the Yankees.
Boy, at one time this Seattle pitching staff was the tallest in baseball. And Randy Johnson is 6'10". They had Jeff Nelson, who's 6'8". Guterman is 6'8".
Got a basketball club.
1-2 the count to Jeffrey Hammonds. Mariners 6, Orioles 5. This is more what we expected. Team starting to break loose, and Hammonds hits one down the right field line and in there off the wall. Jeffrey on his way to second. He'll stop as Jay Buhner throws a strike into second base. Buhner has one of the best arms in baseball and played that ball well.
He does a great job of cutting this ball off, getting over quickly. You can see the target from Dan Wilson up. The ball's up and out over the plate. They wanted it more up and in. Jeffrey very level on that high pitch. We've said it many times, but look how quickly Buhner gets over. Plays the wall perfectly. Comes up throwing. Really no attempt or no chance for Jeffrey to head to second base.
The Orioles have the tying run aboard with 1 out, and Chris Hoyles up. And he takes a pitch down and in. Chris has singled and struck out. Hoyles 0 for 1 lifetime against Rafael Carmona. Slider is low, and it's 2-0.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, Lee Guterman is up.
Get him activated, get him in. Let's see where he's at.
Because they don't have far to go to their AAA team to get players. It's a cab ride from Seattle to Tacoma. High fly ball, center field, and fairly deep, but playable for Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, but when you're down in AAA, you feel like you're a million miles away, no matter if it's a cab ride or not. Everything's different at this level.
There's a lot of teams, including the Orioles, are starting to do that now. Locate their farm teams near the parent club. Colorado has done it. Their AAA team is in Colorado Springs.
Well, the minor leagues have really become an extension of the major league rosters, with injuries and players shuttling back and forth so often. Just pays that short notice they can be here quickly.
And it saves money.
Money, and also, and I'll tell you, that kid down in AAA gets to watch all the Mariner games, to grade himself and see how he's doing against big league competition, what the people in his way are doing.
And another benefit to it is when you send somebody out on a rehab assignment, if you're the Orioles, you can send them to Bowie. And they can drive there, not have to go stay in a hotel somewhere.
Well, and also, if you're at the front office, you get a chance to go and watch it yourself. Just drive on down, and you can grade it yourself instead of having to go by reports or waiting for the next day to hear how he did.
Hammonds is running. Dan Wilson fires to second base, and he's safe. Oh, now, wait a minute. The umpire called safe and then out. Brian O'Nora. Now I think he's ruled him safe, but he called safe. Then he indicated out. Hammonds is still there, so apparently he's safe. And Lou Piniella wants to know what's going on.
Well, he's going safe, out, safe. Which is it? 2 out of 3. What happens is it looks like Hammonds gets his spike caught in Cora's glove. It appears at that point Cora's beep is, hey, if he steps on my glove, he's out. It appears that Jeffrey Hammond's front leg actually misses the bag, and Cora tags him on the back leg. See, his front leg actually stops, and the back leg, and it's a very tough call. I'm not sure what the umpire could see from the position he had.
Well, they called him safe, out, and then safe, so he's safe.
Right. But Ed's on an odd call. It's in our favor.
It's the 3rd stolen base of the year for Jeffrey Hammonds as he gets into scoring position. And the count is 3-0 to Billy Ripken. And Rafael Carmona wants to make sure he gets Billy here, not put him on, then have to face Brady Anderson. Of course, he probably wouldn't face him anyway. Guterman probably would. We'll see. Billy draws a walk. And Lou Piniella is going to bring in the left-hander. So we'll get a pitching change as the Orioles are threatening with 2 outs in the 6th. The Mariners lead 6-5, and we'll be back. Veteran Lee Guterman comes in to face Brady Anderson. And Lou Piniella playing the percentages, bring in the left-hander to face a left-handed batter, but Brady is hitting .318 off left-handed pitching this year. He's 14 for 44. He steps in with runners at 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. Seattle leads 6-5. Brady is homered, flying to left and grounded to 1st. Strike 1 from Guterman.
And what you see out of Brady Anderson's stance against a left-handed pitcher, he's opened that front leg or the right leg to allow him to get a better view of the left-handers. More of a straight-on style stance versus the right-handed pitchers. This allows him, you see the front leg there, just open up a hair. Gives him a much better view of the pitcher.
Slider in the dirt, and it's 1-1 to Brady Anderson. 37-year-old Guterman just recalled today from AAA, made 13 appearances, all in relief at Tacoma, and was 0-2 with a 5.00 earned run average.
Always had a big curveball and I would say, average velocity with good sink.
That's low, and it's 2-1 to Brady.
And throws a lot of breaking stuff. You know, for a big guy, really doesn't throw that hard. Never really did. Relied mostly on the sink of the ball and location to be successful.
Good cut by Brady, and he fouls it straight back. He just missed that one.
We got one up in the zone.
Bob Wells is up in the Seattle bullpen. Lee Guterman over the years very tough on left-handed pitching. In his career, he's allowed just 7 home runs to left-handers. He's been around a long time. He first came up in 1984 with the Mariners. Swing and a miss, and down goes Brady. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left at the end of 5 1/2. It's still the Mariners 6 and the Orioles 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we direct your attention to that.
Mike Flanagan back in Seattle. Arthur Rhodes came in to strike out Dan Wilson with a runner in scoring position to end the 5th. Scott Erickson pitched well for 4 innings, but ran into problems in the 5th inning. And 4 2/3 innings, he was charged with 6 runs, all of them earned on 8 hits. He walked 3, struck out 4. Russ Davis will lead off the inning for the Mariners in the 6th. He struck out and lined to center. 0-1 to Davis.
Well, so far this season, Arthur Rhodes appears when he comes in, he's either on or off. He's had some terrific outings. His numbers are excellent.
And he pumps 2 fastballs by Davis.
When he's on, he can be unhittable. In 26 innings, he struck out 36 batters. He's only walked, well, 13. 2-to-1, almost 3-to-1 strikeout ratio. You take his 4-0, Mussina's 7-2. And those 2 pitchers there are 9 games over 500 themselves. The Orioles 27-20. So you take those 2 people away, the rest of the staff just 16-18. But Arthur, once he's got it going.
Struck him out. He's fanned both batters he's faced tonight.
He just peppers the strike zone. And the thing that Davey Johnson likes so much about Arthur is you can leave him in this game for another 4 or 5 innings. If he's on, you just run with him because you know you're not going to have him available for the next couple of days. So go ahead and go with it. It's almost as if Erickson and Rhodes are splitting this game.
Joey Cora up for the 3rd time. He's grounded to first and flied to left. He takes a fastball high. Rhodes began the year in the bullpen, and then when Jimmy Haynes struggled, going 0-3 through his first 3 starts, Davey Johnson moved Rhodes into the rotation. He pitched 1 real good game with 5 shutout innings in his first start, and then pitched poorly the second. But Davey and Pat Dobson were reluctant to move him out of the bullpen anyway because he was pitching so well, and they wasted little time getting him back in the bullpen. As soon as they felt they had Haynes straightened out, put him back in the rotation, Arthur went back to the pen and has pitched extremely well since.
Well, the thing is, you bring in Arthur after a right-handed starter like Erickson, the opposition is going to have all their left-handed hitters in the lineup to hit off Erickson. So Arthur comes in, he has a tremendous advantage, with all the left-handers in the lineup, and he's just going to keep the team at bay. It puts manager Lou Piniella at a disadvantage. Does he hit for all those left-handers who are in the lineup, or do you let him stay? Next time you look up, it's the 9th inning.
And we understand that the Utah Jazz have beaten the Seattle Supersonics in overtime, 98-95. So that series now stands 3-2 in favor of Seattle. That took place earlier today, just a few moments ago, ending at the Seattle Coliseum. So the city will be busy tonight.
Yep, should be.
I'm sure Jay Buhner is sorry he missed the game. He's a season ticket holder for Sonics games. He has a seat right near courtside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Joey Cora. Mariners 6, Orioles 5. Line to right. A base hit for Cora.
Left fielder.
That's the 9th Seattle hit tonight, the first off Arthur Rhodes. And it brings up Darren Bragg, who got the rally started in the 5th, drawing a 2-out walk and then stealing second base. The Mariners went on to score 5 times and knocked Scott Erickson out of the game.
Yeah, the situation at the time, we were a little surprised that he ran, down 5-1 at that point.
It proved to be a big play, though. He stole second, got into scoring position, and Rodriguez doubled him home. Strike 1 to Bragg, who's 1-for-1 lifetime against Arthur Rhodes. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for Seattle. They lead 6-5.
See what happens when you play for 2. You have to play in, respect Cora's speed and Bragg's speed. So Alomar and Ripken in a few steps.
There goes Cora with a good jump. Palmeiro fires to second base, and Cal Ripken tags him out.
You see how strong Cal Ripken is. Joey Cora actually bouncing off of Cal. But this is one of those signals from a manager that you go on the first move. That's what happens. Cora takes off on the first move. You see nothing fancy from Arthur. Just pick it up and throw it over. Cora's just trying to beat the play to second, but watch Cora bounce off Cal. That's some strength. Like running into a wall.
1 ball and 1 strike to Darren Bragg. 2 outs, nobody on now. Fouled away, and it's 1-2 to Bragg. Well, tomorrow night, the Orioles and Mariners wind up this 2-game series. A good matchup. Mike Mussina against Sterling Hitchcock.
A couple of hard throwers.
both have had things to say about Camden Yards. Hitchcock, who got roughed up the last time he pitched, said they ought to drop a bomb on this place, referring to Camden Yards. And I see that Mike Messina has now nicknamed it Home Run Alley.
You know why those are. I mean, if
we'll have that game tomorrow on HTS, beginning with the Orioles report at 10 o'clock with Tom Davis.
I guess if you want to drop a bomb on Camden Yards, you might as well drop one here also. This place is no day at the beach either. Out there a little frustrated he hasn't finished off Bragg yet. To be successful, you know, every time a left-hander walks up there, you got to see a big out sign written all over him. As hard as Arthur's throwing with his breaking ball that goes away, really wants to get him right here.
He hits one off the end of the bat to left field. Polonia comes in, and he's got it for the third out. The end of 6. The Mariners lead the Orioles 6-5. Strike one to Devo.
Texas 4 games in front of these Mariners. 31-19. Johnny Oates' club off to a great start.
Breaking ball is inside, and it's 1-1 to Devereaux. Pinch hitting for Luis Polonia, who finishes the game 0 for 3. Devereaux hitting .224 with 2 homers, 14 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's gone 2 for 5. In the hole, Rodriguez is up with it now, bobbles it and drops it, and Devereaux will be safe. And we'll see how the official score rules on this one.
I would assume it's a hit. Very tough play in the hole, long throw. If you don't handle it cleanly right off the bat in this turf,
second baseman Roberto Alomar.
No chance. To see how deep he is on the normal field, that'd be 3 or 4 steps back on the grass.
That'll be a base hit for Devereaux. Rodriguez only made 2 errors all year. So the Orioles have the tying run aboard with nobody out. Well, there's a dilemma for Davy Johnson. You've got the best hitter in the league up, but he's also a good bunter. Alomar swings away and hits a high fly ball to right. Jay Buhner makes the catch.
Well, third, he's trying to hit behind Devo over towards first.
Trying to advance a runner to third.
First baseman Rafael Palmeiro.
All happened rather quickly. I think one thing Lee Guterman does do. He gets stuck. I used to call him gutter ball.
Mike Jackson is throwing in the bullpen for the Mariners.
He will throw strikes. It seems like in many games like this, you know, both managers letting the offense kind of dictate for 5 or 6, keep the game close. Now the bullpen's taking over.
Breaking ball misses to Rafael Palmeiro, who hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. Off Bob Walcott.
3 home runs allowed by Walcott. 1 big inning from Erickson, really. His downfall. 5 in the 5th.
And Guterman goes 2-0 to Palmeiro.
And you would think that Lou Piniella did a nice job, his manager Davy Johnson, of bringing in Guterman to face Anderson to end the inning.
Rafael Palmeiro has hit 11 home runs. 6 of them have come off left-handed pitching this year. Breaking ball, and it's low, 3-0.
But you'd almost expect to see Jackson in this game if it gets down to, once you get to Ripken, all right-handed hitters in the lineup.
There's Bobby Bonilla, the next man up, who is a switch hitter. Ball 4. Well, Palmeiro draws a walk that puts runners at first and second, brings up Bobby Bonilla. Let's see what Lou Piniella will do here.
Designated hitter Bobby Bonilla.
Lou's taking his time on this march out. Probably going over in his head. Do I want Bonilla to bat left-handed or right-handed in this situation?
Mike Jackson should be ready in the bullpen if Lou wants to make a move, and turn Bobby around? I wouldn't think so, though. I would think he'd rather have him up there right-handed.
Well, the thing is, Davey Johnson knows Mike Jackson firsthand how tough he can be. Had him over in Cincinnati last year. Actually auditioned for the Orioles last spring. A history of arm injuries, and Davey Johnson did a terrific job managing Jackson.
So Lou Piniella will stay with the left-hander Guterman. Bonilla will be up there right-handed. Bobby from the right side is hitting .233 with 2 homers. Batting left-handed, .231 with 1 homer. Mariners lead 6-5, 1 out. Runners at first and second for Bonilla, who's had trouble getting hits lately with men on base. It's the first time tonight he's been up with runners on base.
He's actually grounded into 4 double plays from the left side and only 1 from the right side.
Ball 1 to Bobby Bo.
That's more of a percentage thing, I think, than a glaring statistic. We've seen a much more patient Bobby Bo at the plate than early in the year. Had some tough going with men in scoring position of late. I guess that's sort of an understatement.
In the last 2 games of the Oakland series, he left 13 men on base. And Guterman falls behind 2-0, so a good hitting situation now for Bobby. Mike Devereaux is at second. He represents the tying run. Rafael Palmeiro represents the potential go-ahead run.
Well, 2-0. We'll see what happens here, but guarantee you Bobby Bo is looking for a fastball out over the plate.
And he takes low, ball 3. Seattle fans are getting restless.
Well, I would think it would be his last hitter.
Cal Ripken is on deck. Bonilla swinging away, 3-0.
Well, I'm sure he had the green light. Make one mistake, 3 runs. Go ahead and take a chance. But you see him. What happened is Guterman took a little bit off that pitch just in case he was swinging to ruin his timing. Can you believe he threw a 3-0 changeup? Experience.
The runners are going, and it's ball 4 to Bonilla. So the bases are loaded for Cal Ripken, and that'll do it for Lee Guterman. Lou Piniella is going to go to the right-hander Mike Jackson to face Cal with the bases loaded. We'll be back with the Mariners leading 6-5. Mike Jackson to face Cal Ripken with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th. Rip hit a home run off Jackson on Friday, May 17th at Camden Yards. He's also hit a home run tonight. He hit a 2-run shot off Bob Walcott in the 4th. Oh yeah, high and deep to left, way back, grand slam home run for Ripken. What a night for Cal. He's driven in 6 runs, and the Orioles are back on top.
Well, it seems like he's rewarding manager Davey Johnson by leaving him at shortstop. Swinging the bat much better. And with Jackson, it's either been feast or famine. Cal with, see how happy Davey Johnson is about the whole thing. The seesaw battle.
9-6 Orioles as Cal unloads a grand slam off Mike Jackson. His 2nd home run this year off the Mariner right-hander. Cal tonight is 2 for 4 with 2 homers and 6 runs batted in. Strike 1 to Jeffrey Hammonds. The home runs are beginning to come for Cal. He's up to 5.
You see targets blown away. This is a hanging slider. Probably the pitch in the game that goes the farthest out of any. It's been feast or famine with Jackson. I mean, you could tell the second he hit it.
Jeffrey Hammonds hits one to right center field, and Jay Buhner makes the catches. We look at Darren Bragg watching Ripken's home run carry out.
Just say it ain't so.
Take my word for it. Hammonds just flied out. 2 outs. Big night for Rip.
Well, in 15 at bats now against Mike Jackson, Cal has 9 RBIs. But manager Lou Piniella was really painted into the corner with Guterman walking 2 batters in a row. Had to make the move. I'm sure he would have liked to have left Guterman in.
3 of the runs are charged to Lee Guterman. 1 run to Jackson. Strike one to Chris Hoyle. So Guterman worked 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 3 runs on 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out 1.
Welcome back. But Jackson has an excellent slider when down in the zone. The most difficult thing to do is to get it over in that situation. Base is loaded.
To the third baseman, Russ Davis. He fires to first to get Hoyles. But the Orioles come back with 4 runs in the 7th. A grand slam homer by Cal Ripken has given the Orioles a 9-6 lead. Welcome back to the Kingdom, where Cal Ripken's 5th career grand slam has given the Orioles the lead. Jeffrey Hammonds moves from right field to left field. And Mike Devereaux stays in the game in right. 9-6 Orioles. Well, there are a lot of media types here tonight hoping to see Cal move to third base. They can write something about it. They'll be writing about Cal all right, but he's going to be a shortstop for a while, and he's driven in 6 runs tonight.
Yeah, one of the best nights he's ever had. Grand slam, 2 home runs. All the Oriole runs coming via the home run. Making a statement for his own. I'm not ready for the pasture.
Well, Davey Johnson says somewhere down the line I may make the move. I reserve the right to do that. And if I do, I've already paved the way for it. And your writers won't have to bug me about why I'm doing it. I've already given you the reasons if I do make the move. He was the crowds get bigger every night around Dave. He's like a stand-up comic who gets hot and word spreads. Every night there are more writers surrounding him trying to get some quotes, most of them about Cal.
He's not afraid to take a chance. He's not afraid to move along, move things along. Anytime you take a risk, the thing is you can't steal second with both your feet planted on first. So Davey's not afraid to shake things up, move things along.
And Cal tonight perhaps with a chance to set a new career high in runs batted in. He drove in 7 games at Texas in 1991. Arthur Rhodes ready to go, facing Alex Rodriguez, leading off the Mariners' 7th, and it's strike 1.
A lot of good things have happened for Arthur Rhodes. Now he has a 3-run cushion. Scott Erickson gets off the hook.
Strike 2, 0-2 to Rodriguez, who's 2 for 3 with a single and a double. He's driven in a run and scored twice.
Double barrel action in the Oriole bullpen. Orozco and Mills up and throwing. The bullpen well armed.
Fastball outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rodriguez. He'll be followed by Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez. There's Orozco, the left-hander, Mills, the right-hander. Slider that paralyzed him. 3rd strikeout for Arthur.
Center fielder.
That's what we alluded to, by bringing Arthur in the game. This is what he does when he's on. This is one of those ballparks for Arthur that everything just falls into plate. This is a tough biting slider, no chance. I think if he sets it up with that fastball, nothing much Rodriguez can do. Ken Griffey Jr. is 1 for 15 off of Arthur with 5 strikeouts. Does have a home run to 1 hit. So really Arthur's made 1 mistake to him in 15 at bats. Pretty good numbers.
Griffey tonight has doubled in a run, lined to second, walked and scored. Gets jammed and pulls it foul.
But what he makes you do, he makes you start the bat early. He takes the comfort factor out of it for the hitters. Really anticipate, have to cheat, start that bat early to catch up with the fastball. And if he's making good pitches and he's getting his slider over, it can be very difficult to hit.
Sliders, top foul, and it's 0-2 to Ken Griffey Jr. So, like Arthur might have hurt himself. He's limping a little bit coming off there.
Gimpy.
This is all right.
It's going to be a slider away from Griffey. See, Arthur rotated on that right ankle a little bit, then had to make the quick break. Probably felt a little twinge in that ankle. You could see it rotate on the land. When he overthrows, he gets out on that heel. That's what causes that problem.
High gas, and Griffey lays off 1-2.
Well, that was the high express right there.
The Orioles lead the Mariners 9-6, bottom of the 7th. This game is turning into almost a carbon copy of that 14-13 game at Camden Yards, and Griffey nails one deep right field and gone. Home run number 16 for Ken Griffey Jr., and that cuts the Oriole lead to 9-7.
This is what we predicted, you know, a lot of home runs, a lot of offense. You know, just the second hit and 16 at bats, both home runs. So Bobby throws it down the middle of the plate. And Griffey's good enough to hit it. See where the target is away. Ends up Belkai on the inside part of the plate, right where Griffey left. And he doesn't miss it and knew it the second he hit it. Ball was even a little bit in on him. You can see Davy Johnson and the rest watching also. Just a tee shot out of here.
And that'll do it for Arthur Rhodes. Davy Johnson will make a pitching change with Edgar Martinez coming up. He'll bring in Alan Mills, and we'll be right back. Arthur Rhodes worked an inning in the third. He gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Walked none, struck out 3, and leaves after giving up a home run to Ken Griffey Jr. And Alan Mills comes in to face Edgar Martinez, with the Orioles leading 9-7. Mills' last outing against the Mariners was on Friday, May 17th, that fateful night. He pitched poorly, but he got the win as the Orioles outslugged the Mariners to win it 14-13. Mills gave up 2 home runs in that game. One, a grand slam to Alex Rodriguez, another homer to Jay Buhner, who is the next man up after Edgar Martinez.
Well, the Orioles with 9 runs and just 8 hits. Mariners 7-run, 10 hits, but the Orioles with 4 home runs.
One ball, 1 strike to Edgar Martinez, who doubled in 2 runs in the 5th. His league-leading 27th double.
That used to be a good year to hit 27 doubles.
Two and 1. Mills has had problems with the long ball. In 5 1/3 innings, he's given up 3 home runs. Slider misses. And it's 3-1 to Edgar Martinez. Mills underwent shoulder surgery during the offseason. Went on the disabled list, pitched down at extended spring training in Sarasota, was finally activated. And was convinced he doesn't have his good velocity back, but the last time he pitched, he was throwing 90, 91, 92, which is fast enough.
Right. He's used to 93, 94. But I tell you, 91 with location is better than 94. So,
and he's throwing more sliders. Looks like he's gaining confidence in that pitch.
He's trying to throw it behind in the count to make Allen very successful.
It used to be the Mariners could serve up double Martinez, Edgar and Tino, but Tino's now in New York, so it's just a 1 Martinez limit now. Ball 4. Edgar draws a walk. That'll get the tying run to the plate in Jay Buhner, who homered off Alan Mills. He will take this Buhner-Mills matchup a little further back. Both are former Yankees, and in that brawl in 1993 at Camden Yards between these 2 teams, Mills peppered with Buhner with about 3 of the best right hands I've ever seen.
Allen into martial arts. I think it's Taekwondo, I think, that he's into.
Buhner checks his swing, and on the appeal, no swing, says Roy DeMuro, the first base umpire, son of Lou DeMuro, longtime Major League umpire. His son is up from the Pacific Coast League to fill in for the injured Durwood Merrill tonight. In the dirt, nice pickup by Chris Hoyles.
Nice play, Hoyles.
And it's 2-0, the dangerous Jay Buhner. Jimmy Haynes is up in the bullpen along with Jesse Orosco. Buhner is 2 for 7 with 2 home runs off Mills. And he takes low. 3-0.
Well, Allen, the last 2 hitters, has gone to a 2-0 count and has thrown sliders in those situations. Much more effective pitch when you're ahead in the count. So far, the fish ain't biting.
Another slider. Ball 4.
That's a 3-0 slider right there.
Well, Mills has given up back-to-back walks, and that'll bring up the left-hand hitting Paul Sorrento. Jesse Orosco is ready in the bullpen if Davey Johnson wants to make the move, and he will. So we'll get another pitching change. Mills was ineffective. He leaves, and Davey says, bring me Jesse Orosco, and we'll be right back. Pinella will set up a pinch hitter, Brian Hunter, who's been swinging a hot bat since being recalled from AAA. Hunter's only played in 8 games, but he has 7 hits and 20 at-bats, hitting .350. Really, he'll be facing Jesse for the first time.
Swinging real well. Started the year with the Rainiers in the AAA. He hit .348 with 7 home runs in just 25 games.
That's the Tacoma Rainiers.
Hitting .308, or hit .308 last year against the left-handed pitcher.
Runners at first and second, 1 out. The Orioles lead 9-7 in the 7th. Fastball is high, ball 1 to Brian Hunter, who's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Edgar Martinez at second base. Jay Buhner at first. Hunter has not yet hit a home run, but he does have some power. And Jesse asks Chris Hoiles to go through the signs one more time. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
And he had the home run swing right there. What they call the old-fashioned helicopter. A little late. Baya.
Last year in the National League, Hunter hit .308 against left-handed pitching. Moved to second, sends Martinez back. I'm not worried about him stealing here. He certainly won't be, but I'd like to keep him a step closer to the bag. That might mean the difference between getting it out at the plate or a run being scored. Chris Hoiles goes out to talk with Jesse Orosco.
Just double checking on the signs. There is a sign for that spin move, and it's to keep Martinez close at second base, maybe preventing him from scoring on a single. He's keeping him honest. The thing is, just 1 out this inning. 2 walks, putting the lead in jeopardy. Under the go-ahead run.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Brian Hunter. In there, a fastball for a strike, 1-2. Hunter thought it was outside.
Well, I think he also thought it was high. It's a bit of a borderline on both. It's kind of up and kind of out over the plate. He's not sure what that was called for.
Welcome to the American League.
Hello.
Struck him out. Foul tip is held by Chris Hoiles for the second out.
Throwing nothing but fastballs. I'm sure the scouting report in the Seattle dugout was he throws a lot of breaking balls, but nothing but fastballs here. The ball cut the last second.
And we're going to get another pitching change now. It looks like Davey Johnson will bring in Jimmy Haynes to face Dan Wilson, rather than staying with Orosco, who when he's pitching well is very effective against right-handers. We'll get another change. We'll be back. Rookie Jimmy Haynes makes his second appearance out of the bullpen, coming in with 2 outs and runners at first and second, and the Orioles leading 9-7 to face Dan Wilson. Wilson is 1 for 3, had a single his first time up, and takes a fastball for a strike. Haynes' first outing in relief was on Monday, April 29th at Camden Yards against the Texas Rangers, who relieved Kent Merker in the 3rd inning. Went 5 of the 3rd innings, allowing just 2 earned runs, and picked up the win. He spent most of the year in the rotation.
Yeah, it's pitched real well the last few outings.
High fly ball down the left field line. Jeffrey Hammond's giving chase into the bullpen. It's out of play.
It's somewhat ironic, Davey Johnson goes with the matchup of Roscoe against the hot right-handed hitter Brian Hunter. And maybe the thought process being, let's leave him in. Jesse's on to face Wilson, but decides to bring the right-hander Haynes in.
Wilson hitting .405 with men in scoring position. He's got Edgar Martinez at second base and Jay Buhner at first. Fouled back, and it's 0-2 to the Mariners catcher.
Quickly ahead. Now you can do a number of different things. Haven't seen that breaking ball.
Davey Johnson has used his bullpen tonight. He's used Arthur Rhodes, Alan Mills, Jesse Orozco, and now Jimmy Haynes, all in relief.
All well rested. The off day yesterday. I think Roger McDowell will be available.
Strike three. Haynes does the job. Dan Wilson is caught looking, but the Mariners pick up a run on Ken Griffey Jr.'s home run at the end of 7. Orioles 9, Mariners 7. We've got another wild one going between the Orioles and the Seattle Mariners, for the Orioles ahead 9-7. Cal Ripken's grand slam homer off Mike Jackson, the 7th, put the Orioles up 9-6. Then Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run the bottom of the 7th to make it 9-7. Brian Hunter stays in the game at first base for the Mariners. Billy Ripken will lead off the 8th against Mike Jackson. Billy's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight and takes a strike from the hard-throwing right-hander. Half swing, and he went around. It's 0-2.
You can see when Jackson throws a good slider how late it breaks. A lot of check swings.
Billy strikes out on 3 pitches.
Center fielder
And now Brady Anderson will be coming up as we go to the top of the order.
Well, he made him aware of that slider, and the fastball's able to get by. Nice piece of pitching by Mike Jackson. They're trying to get on top of it to no avail.
Brady Anderson is 1 for 2 against Mike Jackson. Had a home run his first time up tonight. His 7th leadoff homer of the year. Off-speed pitch misses. Ball 1. Brady with 19 homers, 2 away from his career high of 21.
Incredible.
1-1.
In 48 games, right? And he's missed a few with the quadricep.
He's also extended his hitting streak to 11 straight games with his home run tonight. That got him. Just a grazing blow, and Brady's hit by a pitch. So he's aboard in a possible running situation.
See Brady much closer to the plate against a right-handed pitcher. Ball just really gets the shirt. Maybe a little bit more skin than that, but not budging. Hitting coach Rick Down has done a nice job. See the Oriole hitters being much more patient and selective of late.
Mike Devereaux for the 2nd time. He pinch hit for Luis Polonia in the 7th inning and singled, then stayed in the game to play right field with Jeffrey Hammonds moving to left. Devo against Mike Jackson is 2 for 6. Orioles 9, Mariners 7, top of the 8th. Ooh, it looked like Brady was going that time. He had a big lead.
It's the first time we've really seen that right leg back out on the carpet. One of the indicators that he's stretching out his lead.
And since he injured his right quadricep, he's not been running much.
They're certainly getting Jackson's attention. Once that right foot goes out on the carpet, it's a lead that makes a pitcher a little uncomfortable. Like to use that carpet as almost a springboard, lock it in on that carpet. You watch that right foot try to creep out there. A little bit more traction off that carpet.
High fly ball right field. And Jay Buhner makes the catch for the 2nd out.
See John Stearns is carrying a stopwatch. What he's doing is he's timing Mike Jackson for Brady Anderson, which is an indication also maybe Brady wants to run.
Robbie Alomar up there to face Mike Jackson. He's hitless tonight, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. He pitched very carefully to him. And he's got himself a base hit. Brady Anderson will go to third. First and third with 2 outs for the Orioles. As Alomar has extended his hitting streak to 13 straight games.
Makes it look easy. You got a runner on first base. One of the reasons maybe Brady Anderson is not running. Alomar knows if he just can pull the ball, pulls his hands in nicely, and hits a grounder to right, and Brady ends up on third.
And this brings up an interesting matchup now with Rafael Palmeiro coming up against Mike Jackson. There's nobody up in the bullpen, so Lou Piniella has to stay with this. But Rafi, lifetime against Jackson, is 7 for 9 with 2 home runs.
There's been 2 matchups in this game. Really didn't have good numbers against Cal Ripken Jr. either.
High and inside, ball 1 to Palmeiro, who hit a 2-run homer in the 5th, his 11th home run of the year. Back up to 300.
And Bobby Bonilla on deck is 3 for 12 against Mike Jackson. So you do have a base.
Fly ball center field. Ken Griffey Jr. in a couple of steps to make the catch. And the Orioles are unable to capitalize on the situation. But they lead it 9-7 as we head to the bottom half of the 8th. Jimmy Haynes on the mound for the Orioles. He came in and struck out Dan Wilson with 2 men on to end the 7th. Will face Russ Davis leading off the 8th. Haynes was the starting pitcher in that wild 14-13 Oriole victory at Camden Yards May 17th. He went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs on 8 hits, but did not figure in the decision. Alvin Mills got the win in relief. 0-1 to Russ Davis, who struck out twice and lined to center. 1-1.
9 strikeouts by the Orioles staff tonight. It's his tough Mariner club, but also 5 walks.
Curveball is bounced to Cal Ripken, who short hops it, whirls, fires, and gets him. Nice play by Cal, who's been the offensive hero tonight, with 2 homers, including a grand slam, and 6 runs batted in.
This ball's off the end of the bat. Davis takes a little bit of a funny hop. Short hops Cal. Davis runs pretty well, but Cal has that knack of the bang-bang play. Really frustrates the runner. Gets in position. Long flip throw by half a step.
Here's Joey Cora, who's 1 for 3. Shows bunt, and he is an excellent bunter. Ball 1 to Cora. It's tough to bunt on this AstroTurf, though.
Hard to deaden the ball.
Scott Davison is up in the Seattle bullpen. And the count evens at a ball and a strike to Cora. Randy Myers, who lives in the state of Washington, in Vancouver, Washington, begins to heat up. Strike 2, 1-2. Randy was saying that he drove his Hummer from his home in Vancouver, which would be about 3 hours south of here. He's got it parked in the hotel, one of those all-terrain vehicles.
Will that fit into the hotel?
That's what he said.
Jeez.
Line down the left field line. Oh, what a catch by Jeffrey Hammonds. Terrific play. The Orioles defense is at it again. Not only are they making big plays, they've not made an error in almost 9 games.
And Cora hits his ball real well, but Hammonds really just outruns it. You see, he took a little of the circuitous route to it, but recovers. What a gift speed is. A nice running play by Jeffrey.
If the Orioles get through this game without an error, they'll be closing in on the club record for consecutive errorless games. That record is 13 straight games without an error, set in 1991. Strike 1 to Darren Bragg. Jimmy Haynes has retired all 3 batters he's faced.
Well, and you go through this 11-4 streak, you know, the reason for that great streak is defense and offense.
1 ball, 1 strike to Darren Bragg, who's 0 for 3 with a walk tonight, has scored a run.
During that streak where they went 4-15, they made a lot of errors.
Hit down the right field line and foul. Ball hooked foul. Sounded like he broke his bat.
I think he did.
The top fielding teams in the American League, the Oakland A's with the best percentage. Seattle is second, and the Orioles are fifth.
At one time, they were 9th in the league in fielding, which is one of the last scenarios that we thought would develop.
The last Oriole error came on May the 17th in that 14-13 game. Came in the 6th inning when Roberto Alomar committed an error. They haven't made any since. Darren Bragg returns to the plate with a new bat.
Yeah, Seattle, one of those clubs defensively ahead of the Orioles. They've only given up, out of 255 runs they've given up, only 8 have been unearned. The Orioles given up 27 unearned runs of the 271 they've given up.
Oh, yeah. Off-speed breaking ball for a called 3rd strike. Jimmy Haynes has pitched extremely well. He's retired all 4 batters he's faced, and it's still 9-7 Orioles. Scott Davison, young right-hander, comes in to work the 9th, facing Bobby Bonilla, Cal Ripken, and Jeffrey Hemmons. And it's strike 1 to Bobby Bull, who's 1 for 3 with a walk tonight. Davison faced the Orioles. Of course, who didn't? In that 14-13 Oriole win, May 17th. Came in relief. Gave up a home run to Rafael Palmeiro.
Davison, a real hard thrower. An interesting story. Played 4 years in the minor leagues as a shortstop in the Montreal chain before being released. A couple of years as a high school coach, and came back into the Mariners system as a reliever, just 25 years old, and has done real well and climbed right through the organization.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Bonilla. Randy Myers getting ready to work the 9th.
It's been a while since he worked.
Popped up foul out of play. Well, the Mariners have used 5 different pitchers. So have the Orioles. Total of 10 pitchers in this game. For Seattle, Bob Walcott started, and Rafael Carmona, Lee Guterman, Mike Jackson, and now Davison. For the Orioles, it's been Scott Erickson, Arthur Rhodes, Alan Mills, Jesse Orozco, and Jimmy Haynes.
Well, it was really Walcott and Erickson for 5, and since then, 8 other pitchers.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Bonilla, leading off the Oriole 9th. That's low. Ball 4. He walked it. Go ahead, Bobby. Now, he wanted to stay and hit. Dave Phillips said, no, I can't let you do that. It's against the rules.
I said, this guy's got a pretty good fastball. I have to try to hit this.
So here's Cal with a chance to surpass his career high in runs batted in. His career high is 7 in one game. He's already driven in 6. He hit a 2-run home run off Bob Walcott in the 4th and a grand slam home run off Mike Jackson in the 7th. He's hit 3 home runs in the last 3 games. That's a strike. Cal is 1 for 1 off Scott Davison. Fouled back. He's had some good cuts tonight. Here's another look at his grand slam as Mike Jackson came in to face him with the bases loaded in the 7th. And he got all of it.
Hung him a slider. Didn't miss it. Hit 2 breaking ball home runs tonight. Breaking ball off Walcott, who struck him out the first time up with a breaking ball. Came back with it, homered.
Fastball low, 1-2 to Cal. Now has 5 home runs on the season. Starting to get hot.
The Orioles with 4 home runs tonight.
He takes low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Orioles are now up to 74 home runs in the season. They were second to Seattle coming in.
They may catch Seattle.
Got a ways
today or tomorrow. Oh, wait,
Seattle's got 85.
Behind? That's it? Well, we can catch them tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Cal gets a hold of another one. You can kiss this one goodbye. His 3rd home run of the game. And he's now driven in a career-high 8 runs, matching his uniform number. Wow.
On a night with all that speculation of the move to third base maybe being a negative, and he's getting a standing ovation here in Seattle.
They're on their feet, 23,235, and most of them are on their feet cheering the Orioles' great shortstop, future Hall of Famer Cal Ripken. Davey Johnson is out to congratulate him. David Wells holding up some fingers. I think he held up 4. He hasn't had to hit that many, but he has hit 3 and driven in 8 runs. Wow. A pair of 2-run homers and a grand slam.
Pretty amazing, you know. A lot of the fans coming here, this is a fastball. So he's hit a curveball for a homer, a slider for a home run, and a fastball for a home run.
It also marks the first time in Cal's career that he's hit 3 home runs in a game.
So I guess on a night when maybe the fans were expecting to see the end of something, a long consecutive streak at shortstop, have certainly seen as a nice smile from Cal. It's brought them to their feet. An explosive offensive night.
Cal has discovered the fountain of youth in Seattle. 3 homers, 8 runs batted in. His 5th career grand slam, his first 3 home run game, and the first time in his career he's driven in 8 in one game. That pitch is low. What if Davey Johnson moved him to third base tomorrow? No, I think he's safe for a while. What a night.
Well, that now gives him 30 on the season. You figure Roberto Alomar's got 39. Brady's got 34.
He came in with 3 homers and will leave the Kingdome tonight with 6. Fouled back by Jeffrey Hammonds. Well, the Oriole record for most RBIs in one game is 9. Cal has 8 tonight. Jim Gentile drove in 9 runs against Minnesota in 1961, and Eddie Murray did it against California in 1985. There's Ken Griffey Jr. admiring Ripken's work. He hit 3 home runs in one game against the Yankees. First time in his career he's done that. Hammond strikes out. The Orioles now lead 11-7, and that also puts Randy Myers back down on the bench in the bullpen. It's no longer a safe situation.
It's been a while since Randy's worked. Hasn't really pitched. Wonder if Davey Johnson would just give him some work. Hasn't worked since May 19th. Today the 28th.
Swing and a miss by Chris Hoyles, who's 1 for 4 tonight. All of the Oriole runs, all 11, have come on home runs. That's amazing. Brady Anderson hit a solo to start the game. Cal Ripken hit the first of 3, 2-run homer in the 4th. Rafael Palmeiro hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. Cal hit a grand slam in the 7th and hit a 2-run homer in the 9th. I don't know if I've ever seen that many runs scored all on home runs.
All via the home run. The thing is, Bobby Bonilla on base in each of Cal's home runs.
Folks are headed to the exits.
That's the bat that Cal was using. That's how you handle that slider.
Low. And it's 3-2 to Chris Hoyles. 5 home runs tonight for the Orioles. Make it 2-2 is the count. You can make it anything you want, but it is 2-2.
They've homered in the last.
Scoring at home. Do whatever you want. High fly ball center field. Back goes Griffey with plenty of room. 2 outs.
Well, they've homered in what's that? 4 of the last 5 innings.
Cal has hit 3 home runs in his last 4 at bats. Started off the night striking out in the 2nd inning, then hit a 2-run homer off Bob Walcott in the 4th. Flied out in the 6th, hit a grand slam off Mike Jackson in the 7th, and a 2-run homer in the 9th off Scott Davison.
And that's what you like about this Oriole club offensively this year. You know, Erickson gives up 5 runs in the 5th. You know, to give back what was a 5-1 lead. You know, a lot of teams would lay down and say, well, it's just not our night. He gave up, 5 runs right back. But the Oriole offense just turns it on. It's certainly Cal deserves a lot of that credit tonight.
Swing and a miss by Billy Ripken. 1-2.
And Cal's driven in all 6 runs after that 5th inning. Score at that time was 6-5 the Mariners, and it's driven in the last 6 runs.
And Billy Ripken gets into the act. He hits one to deep left field, way back, and it's gone. How about that? The Ripken family having quite a night. They've driven in 9 runs, and the Orioles now lead 12-7. What a night for the Ripkens. Somehow I can just picture Cal Sr. and Vi standing in their living room and high-fiving each other and cheering.
Well, I don't know about high-fiving, but certainly kicking back and feeling maybe tremendous satisfaction. Both the sons doing so well.
Well, this is the first time since September 15th, 1990 that Cal and Billy have homered in the same game. And the Orioles now lead 12-7. What a night for the Ripkens. For Billy, his first home run of the year. And guess who those home runs were hit off of? David Wells, who's now an Oriole.
We'll have to. Boomer might not know that. We'll have to inform Boomer of that.
Brady takes low, and it's 3-0. There's Boomer, who's
he's trying to work on his seed ball. What's the most home runs by brothers in a game, or most RBIs by brothers in a game?
Good question. I don't have the answer to that. But the Ripkens have driven in 9 of the Orioles' 12 runs. Brady Anderson draws a walk. So he's on base for the 3rd time, and Mariners' bullpen has fallen apart. Mike Devereaux coming up for the 3rd time. 12 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Orioles, 7 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Mariners. All 12 Oriole runs have come on home runs, a total of 6 home runs in this game by the Orioles. They've now hit 76 for the year. Ball 1 to Mike Devereaux.
I told you they might catch him.
Maybe tonight.
That's what I mean. Well, let's worry about tomorrow. Well, Devo's next home run will be number 100. Might as well go for it.
Boy, this is storybook stuff. Cal with 3 homers, and Billy comes up and hits his first of the year. Low and inside to Mike Devereaux. And California beat the Yankees 1-0. So if the Orioles win this game, well, they should, leading 12-7. They'll be tied with New York for first place. This is well hit. Center field and deep. Back goes Griffey. But Devo didn't get enough of it. But the Ripkens tee off in the 9th. Cal with his 3rd home run of the game. Billy with his 1st. And the Orioles lead 12-7. Up by 5 runs in the 9th. Davy Johnson will stay with Jimmy Haynes rather than turning it over to Randy Myers, although Myers is throwing in the bullpen. And the Mariners will send up the 2-3-4 hitters, Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., and Edgar Martinez to face Haynes, who's retired all 4 batters he's faced with 2 strikeouts. Fouled away by Rodriguez, who's 2 for 4. Outside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. What a night, huh? Cal Ripken tonight, just being informed by John Maroon, the Orioles PR director, with the 3 home runs, has now tied Eddie Murray for the all-time lead in home runs hit by an Oriole. Dribbler up the first baseline to Palmeiro. And a close play. Safe! Raffy doesn't think so. Davy Johnson charges out of the dugout to argue. But Alex Rodriguez is called safe by Roy DeMuro, the rookie umpire up the Coast League.
Well, you be the judge.
Oh, geez, no doubt about it.
Not even close.
It's a terrible call. I do say so myself. Wow.
You know, you say the score is 12-7, but bottom line, this ballpark, anything can happen. That was not even a close play.
So it's an infield hit for Rodriguez. And the Mariners are still alive. Nobody out in the ninth. Ken Griffey Jr. coming up. He's doubled, homered, walked, and lined out. And has driven in 2 runs tonight.
Myers continues to throw. I'm sure if a couple of men get on, you may see him in the ball game.
It's the first hit that Jimmy Haynes has allowed.
Shame. It wasn't a hit.
Blown call.
Never a dull moment.
Fastball is outside 2-0. Getting back to Cal for just a moment. With his 3 home runs tonight, he's now tied Eddie Murray for the club lead with 333 career home runs. A night to remember for Cal. Ball 3-0 to Griffey.
And the bottom line is with a 5-run lead. If Griffey hits one to the moon, it's only 2 runs. You don't want to walk anybody in this situation.
But Haynes does.
This is how big innings are built. You know, this is really upsetting to Davy Johnson. The game's under control. The umpire misses the call. And all of a sudden you could feel the momentum swing. And now they're going to the heart of the order. They've opened the door. That's what's happened.
And now a chance for the Mariners to get back in this game. Edgar Martinez coming up with nobody out. Runners at first and second. Edgar is 1 for 2 against Jimmy Haynes.
And this is as a manager, you start playing scoreboard math. Well, if he hits one now, it's 12-7. You still have room.
Ball 1 to Edgar.
And this is what happens. You see Chris Hoyles trying to slow Jimmy Haynes down. Many times a young pitcher, you know, will cruise along, and then one thing throws it off, and the wheels come off the cart. Start overthrowing.
Check swing over to short. Cal Ripken to second. Robbie Alomar to first. Double play. And Cal's been in the middle of everything tonight. Rodriguez goes to third. The Mariners are down their last out.
See what Cal's telling Robbie Alomar, he said, is Martinez was trying to go the other way with the ball and couldn't help it. The ball was down and in. He was just trying to hit the ball to right field. You can see him almost stop the swing. That's what Cal was telling Robbie. He was trying to hit the ball the other way.
Jay Buhner up with 2 outs and a runner at third. Big swing and hits it foul up near one of the speakers.
Now for Jimmy Haynes, he's go, here I come. 2 outs, let it hang out, let it go, get ahead.
I think that ball hit a speaker. Tris speaker.
Tris speaker.
They name the speaker.
Speaker of the House.
Hit Tris. Whoever. Base hit for Buhner. That'll get a run home to make it 12-8 as Alex Rodriguez scores. Mariners about hit the Orioles tonight, 12-11.
First baseman, number 34.
First run that Jimmy Haynes has given up.
Orioles also with 6 walks. What's bailed them out more than anything tonight is 10 strikeouts by the club.
Buhner well on his way to another 100 RBI season. He's driven in 2 tonight and 47 for the year.
Oof. Scary numbers.
12-8 Orioles. Brian Hunter comes up for the second time. He pinch hit in the 7th and struck out, batting for Paul Sorrento. Ball 1 to Hunter. He stayed in the game to play first base. Well, it used to be when you were up 12-8, you felt pretty safe, but not this year. Not the way the balls are flying out of the parks.
No, not in this park with these 2 clubs.
As we've said so often, it's almost becoming the mantra for 1996. No lead is safe. And Haynes goes 2-0 to Hunter. In the hole by Cal Ripken for a base hit. The Mariners are still alive. A 2-out single by Brian Hunter, Seattle's 13th hit of the game. And it's getting just a little too interesting now.
Catcher Dan Wilson.
Well, Hunter just hooks this ball, pitches away, gets it right off the end of the bat. But what works for him here is placement. Just in the hole, just out of Cal's reach. Cal's in short left field.
Dan Wilson up with 2 outs, runners at first and second. The Orioles lead 12-8, and Wilson takes a strike. He was the first man that Jimmy Haynes faced when Haynes came in the 7th, and Wilson was caught looking with 2 men on to end the inning. Strike 2, and the Mariners are down to their last strike. Wilson thought it was long outside.
That's not a strike.
That's low. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dan Wilson. 12 runs, 11 hits for the Orioles. 8 runs, 13 hits for the Mariners. Way outside, 2-2. Now, if Wilson should get on, that would bring the tying run to the plate.
And I'm sure you'll probably see Randy Myers after all.
Russ Davis would be coming up if that should happen.
This is the pitch you want it to happen. You really don't want to run 3-2.
Curveball got him. Struck him out. And that's the ball game. The Orioles have outlasted the Seattle Mariners 12-8 on a night that Cal Ripken and Billy Ripken were in the spotlight. Cal hit 3 home runs tonight, the first 3 home run game of his major league career, drove in a career high 8, and then Billy Ripken added the punctuation mark with his first home run of the year, also in the 9th inning. Final score from the Kingdome: Orioles 12, Mariners 8.